Hello and welcome back to Beers with Buds. I'm your host, Andrew Freedman, the Cannabis Sommelier. Today I'm joined by my new bud, Donny Wong, taking lunch money, Booost CBD with 3 O's. Thanks for being here, Donny.
Thank you, Andy.
How are you today? Things are good?
Things are great. Things are flying. For the audience here, Andy just whipped me up here a strawberry old fashioned, getting me settled in quite nicely. So things are good.
Infused with THC too.
Infused with THC, correct.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me again. I kind of gave your handles, but why don't you just introduce yourself, tell everybody about your hustle, and then we'll just dive into basically talking about beer and cannabis and nonsense.
Okay, Donny Wong, what's going on, everybody? AKA CB Donny, AKA Tyrannosaurus Flex.
Oh.
Just kidding, nobody calls me that.
Except for me now, T flexing.
Tyrannosaurus Flex in the house. You can catch me on Instagram. That's taking lunch money. You can catch our newest venture, Booost CBD. Boost with 3 O's. And what we do is we make cannabis products for people who don't like getting high, specifically CBDs in the realm of performance and recovery. Okay,
that's cool. The CBD world is huge. This is the first time I saw you was you were giving a speech about CBD and athletes, and I saw a few speakers that night, and you were definitely the most connecting and engaging because you were talking about recovery and you were talking about cannabis as a legal natural health medicine, right? And that's super interesting because a lot of people are only looking at the recreational side. And I heard a great podcast debate, Joe Rogan's most recent podcast.
The pot debate.
Yeah.
The pot debate.
And
they went in.
And it's great because, the one thing and the major thing that I think was really well explained is that high THC cannabis is a recreational drug.
Yes.
For most.
Yes.
In certain circumstances, it is definitely a cognitive aid, but CBD is, without contestation, a medicine, and now it's a legally available medicine, just like if you were to eat vitamin B3 or whatever.
Absolutely. And one of the things especially with the talk, and especially with our mission here, is we really want to make CBD even more normalize CBD even more, and take it even out of the realm of medicine. Boost in particular, we want to make sure that the common man, the common woman, every single day you can understand CBD as a supplement, as a supernatural supplement.
Okay.
As regular as your vitamin C, as regular as ginseng. That's basically what I think we're going to see in the next 10 years.
It's a superfood. It's a health food.
Bingo, you got it.
Just take it. It's good for your endocannabinoid system, as long as your endocannabinoid system wants to work with it. That's wicked. I love it. So right now, what kind of products are you imagining for the future, or what will be the products that will connect the best with a customer? Yeah,
so Boost itself, again, we specialize in performance and recovery. So we're not really your everyday, hey, take this shake and feel good. We do show methods of using CBD with your bulletproof coffees, your shakes, and this and the other.
Okay.
The products you're going to see us coming out is purely for performance and recovery. You're going to see us come out with our pre-workouts. You're going to see us come with our cooling gels, our heating gels. You're going to see us come out with our CBDs with BCAA soon, our proteins with CBDs. All those things, and a couple more down the pipeline that we're prototyping right now, so I don't want to give too much out.
No, that's
but
awesome.
Some really interesting stuff we're going to see pretty soon here.
And so any of those, how is, one of the things I'm ill-informed about is CBD as a tincture versus as a topical, versus ingested. I understand ingested is incredible, but as a topical, does it work? Is it a real thing?
That's a great question, and it's usually about the third question that everyone asks. First one is always, what is CBD? Second one is, how does CBD work? The third one is, how do I use CBD?
We're just assuming everybody knows. I feel like we should answer those first two questions for the people that are just kind of here for the beers part.
Definitely. For our alcoholics out there who just happen to stumble across this. CBD, think of CBD as THC's twin brother. They look the exact same, but on the molecular end, they're completely different. Just to generalize this so we can keep this moving, THC keeps you high, CBD keeps you grounded. So CBD is its non-psychoactive twin brother, does not get you high. So the next common question is, why the hell would I take CBD? And so why people take CBD is exactly because it doesn't get you high. Athletes, professionals, people have to pass drug tests, people have to go through the border, but still want the healing effects of cannabis. So CBD in particular brings down inflammation, which is huge. I'm sure we're going to get deep into that. Helps with anxiety, helps as a neuroprotectant, helps you get to sleep. And of course, helps with the anxiety, if I didn't already say that. Those are the three main categories before we get really deep down the rabbit hole there.
Cool.
So after we figure out what CBD is, the next question is, how do I use CBD? And this kind of loops us back to what you asked about the topicals.
Yeah.
The different ways that you deploy CBD give it different benefits on the body.
Okay.
So vaporizing it being the most most instantaneous. What I found with our clientele and our research and experience so far, vaping is extraordinary for anything to do with the head and anything to do with the stomach. That's why it's things like anxiety, depression, or cramps, especially for girls who have I think it's endometriosis.
Okay.
Extremely bad cramping. In one puff of a vape, I've yet to meet a girl who cannot get rid of her cramps in one puff of something like this. So
Yeah,
I'm holding up
fantastic.
a little vapor, a little CBD vape.
Almost
here.
a retrofitted jewel. Is
Bingo.
what it looks like.
Bingo. And so vaping is incredible for that. The advantages are the effects are instantaneous, much like you would figure if you smoked a joint.
Yeah, exactly. Within a minute or 2 minutes, you know exactly what's happening.
You got it. Tinctures, the second thing we brought up here, is great for the overall body. It really helps with anything that's really going on deep inside the body. Stays in the body a lot longer as opposed to vapes, which basically is out of your system about 3 hours. Tinctures will stay 6 to 8 hours. I really recommend it for clients who, say, have chronic pain, have maybe injuries that they've had their entire lives, especially athletes, high performers. We all have pains that we found coping mechanisms for, right? Things like if, for instance, if you have a podcast due and you want to get it out, but something's nagging pain, or say you're a stiff neck, or say whatever, we'll pile through. We'll drive on through. We'll just put we'll put the blinders on. We'll plow through. But what we understand now is that we don't have to anymore with these tools like CBDs that can bring down inflammation, loosen up muscles, and that's where the topical comes in.
Okay.
The difference with the topical is you can directly spot treat exactly what area on the body that you're having issues with.
Okay.
So things like even tight muscles. If you're on the desk a lot, chances are your traps in your neck.
Yeah, my neck is
Very
so
tight muscles.
sore.
How's your neck right now?
Terrible.
I brought a bar on me actually. It's in my bag downstairs.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll take a break in a bit, and we'll check.
So exactly, this is the most common ailment that most people just look over because whatever, my neck is sore. Well, what we understand now is that you don't have to live with a sore neck. You can simply pull out this bar, rub it on your neck. Our bar will have a cooling sensation. It's all made with natural ingredients, your menthol, your eucalyptus, cooling sensation within seconds. And the most incredible part, the pain is gone, the tightness is gone, full range of motion back in your neck. That's how incredible. That was one of the examples of the incredible applications of CBD.
So it's almost because I've had great success with just topicals for my shoulder injuries. I use like this P3 lotion that's absolutely fantastic. It's the only thing when I have terrible shoulder pain. And now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, of course, if I put CBD in this, it's another tool in the toolkit to make my muscles better. You
got it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. What got you into this? Like, are you into sports? Are you sore? What's going on?
All the above, but this is exactly how I got into CBD. So I just moved back from Toronto. So I was out in Toronto, born and raised in Calgary, I should say. Left for Toronto to go pursue how to be an entrepreneur, I guess, for the short version.
Awesome.
Spent 5 years there, finished up with that group, and I moved back home. And so I had actually met this girl, and as all broken bone stories about guys, I got drunk, got in a fight, and I punched an elevator.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
Boxer's fracture?
I was lucky enough where it was just a tiny little crack in it was called a hamate bone.
Okay.
Tiny little bone in the wrist, but I fractured that. So after that was all said and done, casted up, went back to my best friend's house. Actually, I should say I woke up downstairs on his couch with 2 ice packs sandwiched between my hand. After it was casted up, And I was back at the house. My friend tells me, and it's painful. If anyone's ever broke a bone, it's painful. It's not very fun.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
I've had multiple boxer's fractures. I feel you.
What's a boxer fracture? Is it?
It's when you smash in your knuckles from. Yeah,
That definitely happened. I remember when my fist made impact into the elevator.
Yeah.
And by the way, that elevator does not exist anymore. They had to replace it. The entire elevator. All my bones, they all shifted. I had to press my hand and push them back into place.
Yikes, that was a bad idea. I went to a plastic surgeon for that.
Really?
Yeah, twice. I had to go, and the guy was like, "Don't do this again, or I might not be able to fix it."
Oh.
So I totally understand that pain.
Yeah.
It's it's achy.
It's achy, and if you move it, the sharp pains kick in. Mm-hmm. So I'm also not one to really. That's a faux pas right there. I'm also not one to really take any sort of.
Yeah, we'll both mute our phones right now. Don't worry.
Painkillers or anything of the sort. So what happened was I was with my friend, and he had just really discovered his cannabis journey.
Okay.
From completely never smoking to discovering CBDs to now he was delving into the heavy CBD THC mixes, and then he was just blasting THC now.
Okay.
And he said, "Donny, smoke this." And I said, "No, I can't because I have business calls, I have sales calls. I was trying to start a business at that time." And he said, "Don't worry, it's CBD." I was like, "Okay," smoked it. What do you know? Pain is gone, completely normal. And that really made a click going on my head, because when I was younger, I never understood how rappers are always high, but they perform at such a high level.
Okay.
That always amazed me. And I have friends, we have friends that could be super high,
yeah,
but they function completely normal. They could be at any sales call, they can give any talk, and that always blew my mind.
My prescription is for 8 grams a day, and I always try and fill my prescription.
Nice.
So yeah, that is a hilarious. It made sense how the rappers could do it.
So that was a big one for me. That clicked for me. And then finally, what really clicked in was...
They can't all do it, by the way. A lot of them wouldn't smoke with me before they'd go on
stage.
Anyways, keep going. What clicked with you?
Yes, Andy. A side story. Fabulous's manager, we used to do a lot of concerts in town.
Okay.
Fabulous's manager, we couldn't hang. He smoked us out of the hotel room.
Amazing.
There was me, my best buds, and we brought these blunts. We rolled a trifecta, which is 3 of the strongest strains we could have come up with in this hotel room. We couldn't even finish the blunt. Us 3 had to get up, excuse ourselves, and leave. And he was just just going.
Infected mushrooms. Those guys smoke.
Really?
Good Israeli guys.
Really?
Those guys smoke. They're awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we were getting in trouble at Marquee, and I remember going to Method Man and smoking a blunt the entire time he performed at Marquee, and they were getting mad at us for smoking in the green room. It was awesome. Anyways.
Have you ever had a chance to hang out with DJ LB?
No.
Just because if you're in the hip hop scene, like obviously he's a hip hop DJ, like a pillar of Calgary hip hop, and he can smoke with the best of them.
Oh man,
I need to get you guys together, have a good session.
Yeah, well, I need to get Snoop Dogg here, Gary Vaynerchuk,
yes,
or Method Man, so that I can smoke blunts in the house.
You think Gary will smoke?
I think he totally does in private.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that he doesn't publicly. I think he's not into wouldn't want to be slowed down, but I think CBD is a big thing for him. I know he's heavily invested in cannabis media.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of under the wraps, but he did that. He did a presentation at Hall of Flowers, and I think that really got him interested in the whole game. But he knows cannabis is the disruptor.
Yep.
And I hear him talk about it on a few occasions. It's almost like he's trying to keep it as secret.
It seems like it,
right? It's like he's willing to give away everything else, except he's like, "You motherfuckers don't go into cannabis because I'm going to change this game." But yeah, I think I would love to get Gary Vaynerchuk on the podcast. I have a feeling in a bit I might have to fly to him, but I'm hoping he'll give me 15 or 30 minutes because I'm from the school of Gary Vaynerchuk. So
absolutely,
it's yeah. I just want to thank him.
Yeah, he talks. I've only seen one talk where he kind of dabbles in cannabis, mostly as just the disruptor, but also because to watch that industry, because that's what's going to set the next framework of marketing is what he's been saying.
Yeah.
But nothing about cannabis.
Well, and he's deep into hip hop now, right? This has been his new market shift. Is he's like, okay, athletes. Now I'm gonna get a roster of hip hop, and he always says like hip hop rules the world. Every hip hop is what creates culture, and if hip hop and cannabis are interlaced, as you put it the best, I finally realized how they could smoke so much weed and be rappers. It all just come to a forefront. This is the tech revolution. So okay, so you're like a serial entrepreneur.
Correct.
When did you start your first business? Like, what got you into that? What did you do before you became an entrepreneur and took that lonely road?
Lonely indeed. You know what? I think just like Gary Vaynerchuk, I think it's for my parents.
Yeah.
Right. My first generation Canadian. My parents flew here from Hong Kong.
Amazing.
To make sure that we had a great life.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Shout out to mom and dad. Mom busted her ass off as a caretaker her whole life to make sure we had a good life. My dad, as I finally learned the story just 2 years ago, my dad got us here, had this crazy adventure to even get the right citizenship, and it was completely by chance and fluke that the right guy walked out of an office that he happened to be sitting at, that brought it all together. He made it back, finally settled in his pocket with $600 in his pocket.
Awesome.
To be able to raise our family, and now my brother, myself, and bless my sister, she's gone now, but raise a family, completely different country. And so I was always in my dad's studio, in his photo studio when I was young. So I always tell photographers when I get a chance to meet him, I grew up in the darkroom.
Oh, awesome.
Right. So there's a couple smells you'll never forget, and that's the finish, the film washes.
Okay.
You'll never forget that type of ammonia smell.
I need to smell that because that sounds like such a great wine describer.
Yes. Very acidic. It's got those aromas. They're sharp. You'll never forget them.
Cool.
I'll always remember hearing the timer go off, and obviously it's a dark room, so I'm just kind of like shuffling around. So watching my dad as an entrepreneur, they were also very interesting because even though they're immigrants, they weren't very strict in the sense of culture, in the sense of what they expected me to do.
Awesome.
So even like they never really bugged me about university or college. I think they just really wanted me just to grow up to be a good man. And so with that freedom, with that power comes a lot of responsibility.
Seriously.
And I think the big thing is I just never let them down. But when they gave me that freedom, and they were strict. Don't get me wrong, they were strict disciplinarians. But what that teaches you is respect. It teaches you hard work, and it teaches you that, hey, you have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for yourself because the world is harsh out there. And so what happened was, I remember after high school, all my friends were going to university. They're all trying to be engineers. This was 2002 in Calgary when oil is booming and everyone's trying to be an engineer. And I never like going with the masses. I don't know what it is, but they all became engineers, and I said, no, I want to start Nike. I want to start Starbucks. Like, how the hell did Howard Schultz and Phil Knight, how did they create that?
What a better idea.
Exactly. And so I
cheers
said,
to you, actually. Give me a big cheers on that. That's awesome.
Cheers. And so I said, I'm not going to go to college. But I ended up taking a few classes, which just solidified how much I hated college.
Yep.
It was accounting. I remember specifically it was accounting. They were teaching us an accounting class. And I said to myself, this is stupid. I will hire the best accountant one day to do this for me. I don't understand why I need to learn this. And then I left. I think it was after the first quiz. I just like, screw this. I'm out of here. Dropped out. See ya.
Bye.
See you later, Mount Royal College. Thank you for your time.
Amazing.
And so the first business, I guess it was the first opportunity I monetized, now that we look back, was my birthday parties.
Okay.
So I used to have really just absolute rager of birthday parties. I mean, like hundreds of people come out there for these things. So I'd rent a club and I'd bring everybody in, and it was always for the pretense of, hey, now that high school's over, let's bring everyone back together again. Everyone's off and gone, so let's just bring this back together again.
Donny fucking Wong.
Yeah,
crushing it.
So, and at that time, I had different groups of friends, like everyone does as you grow up.
Yeah.
So in our 20s, I started bringing as many groups of people together.
You were the guy.
And I guess so. And these things just turned into ultimate ragers, right? Like we'd have, at that time, making it rain was a big thing. So, we'd have girls popping out of cakes. We'd make it rain, throw stacks of cash in the air. And that's when I met my first business partner, DJ LV.
Okay.
From there, that transitioned into promoting concerts. So we were the first ones to bring Neo.
What was your concert promo company called? Did you have a company name?
Paper Crown.
Okay.
Yeah, Paper Crown. Paper Crown was our company. We're the first ones to bring Neo. Neo was a big R&B artist back in day. We're the first people to bring Nas to the city. The first and second time.
Wow, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Nas. Thank you. Some bootlegged our tickets. And caused almost a riot outside because people couldn't get in to see Nas. So they're kicking all the windows of the whiskey. We got in some trouble for that. Shout out to the bootleggers. I hate you. Good on you, though.
Anyways, that was a G move.
Yeah,
hustling.
Exactly. But it taught us to you need you need to make your tickets better. They're very easily scammed.
Yeah.
So from the concert production, now I had a few partners when we started promoting, and two of them were promoters, Alvi and one of our dearest friends, Chris Photo. Shout out to them both. Meatball and Butterball. And they were actually promoters, to some of the most prolific promoters in our city at the time.
Okay.
And they were they had these they're promoting a Friday and a Saturday night at this brand new nightlife idea in Calgary. It was called a supper club. And it was the first one in the city, called Opus on 8th. And they said, hey, you should come in and throw your birthday party here. And I was like, okay. And that's when we threw that rager, like absolute rager. And the owner of that club at the time, a good friend of mine now, one of my mentors, Preston, it was amazing. I met him, and every idea I threw at him, he's like, that's awesome. That's a great idea. Strippers? No. Topless service? Do you know what we should do? We'll paint Flames jerseys on them. Even better. Girl popping out a cake? No problem. We'll bake you the cake. This guy, I never met someone just loved my idea so much and was willing to do this in his business. So we're like, okay. Comes full circle, and we actually end up buying that club from him.
Okay.
And so I'm 23 at the time. I have no business owning a nightclub.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now you own one.
But now I'm a 23-year-old kid that owns a nightclub.
Awesome.
And we have our partners, and none of us.
Do you remember what you paid for the nightclub? Is that a crazy question?
No, we paid $500,000 for it.
Okay,
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Because it's a spot downtown on 8th.
It's a spot downtown. We got a killer deal on it. There's all the business metrics and cool stuff that went on behind the scenes.
All the data.
All the business data stuff. But I had older partners. Clearly, I was the youngest one.
Yeah. Okay.
And they handled the transaction. They handled obviously the purchase of the nightclub.
Yeah.
And off we went. And all of a sudden, I was running and owning a nightclub.
Wow! Yikes.
Yeah. And so from
that's a business I wouldn't wish on like my worst enemy.
So funny thing is that actually checked off one of my very first goals in life. Okay. Which was, how do I get paid to party? I think every 20-year-old wants to live that out.
Oh God, fuck yeah!
How do I get paid to party? And this was before Instagram, right?
And how do I be the coolest guy in the club?
Yeah, that came with it. So, I was running the club, and if anyone runs a club or owns a club, and if anyone wants to know, it's as awesome as you think it is. It's every bit as awesome as you think it is.
As a 23-year-old, is it as awesome as a 40 or 50-year-old guy? Depends what you want from your life.
Exactly. I would figure so.
That's crazy. Okay, so how long did the club last for?
Club lasted for exactly to the date, from March 1st, 2012 to March 1st, 2017. It was exactly 5 years. We had a good run.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a great run. Great run,
what was
great
the club
team.
Called?
Opus on 8th.
How the fuck did I never end up there?
I have no idea.
That's crazy.
I have no idea.
That's crazy, because I was heavily in the DJ scene at that point.
Yeah.
The Chicka Chickas. I wasn't doing a good job networking, though.
Okay.
I'll admit that. If I wanted to actually make money, here's the best tip for any struggling musician out there that's listening. Yes, it's cool to be cool and get paid to party and be the coolest guy in a nightclub, but there's a lot more money DJing at Shoppers Drug Mart, or like literally just pitching yourself to anyone and everyone as a DJ. I never wanted to be a wedding DJ, but like shit, now I'm like, fuck, I could really go do a Friday and be a wedding DJ.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're out there and you're like, man, I want to be a musician, I'm not making any money, I'm a DJ, I don't make any money, it's because you're not asking for enough gigs.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Exactly. That's a great point. Because this is half entrepreneur and half cannabis. Here's a pro tip. I want to share some of these life tips that that we've gleaned on the journey to these two chairs in front of each other.
Yes.
And I learned this from a billionaire in Toronto when I got a chance to work very close with some billionaires. And here's a tip for all you youngsters out there, okay? The money you make in your 20s and 30s is not to be spent.
Okay.
You save every single penny of that, and you do not blow it on cars. You don't blow it on BMWs. Nobody cares, trust me. Don't blow it on the nice clothes. Save it so you can make moves. Mm-hmm. When in your 20s, the only reason why guys hustle is to get girls.
Straight up.
You do not need money to get girls. Learn some game, watch some YouTube clips, get out there and spit fire. Save every single penny. Stay broke.
Word. I can't. Word. I'm the brokest guy right now. People saw, I feel like I wear a suit and I have this fancy mustache, but if people knew the car that I drove, they'd be like, what the fuck? They'd laugh at me, but that's okay because the priorities, we only bought the house because I didn't want to pay rent anymore. Mm-hmm. And there was enough money saved that I could start building equity in the house. And now the reality is, no matter how long we're in here, when we leave, there's money to either buy a house somewhere else in the world or start the business that we want with and bootstrap it ourselves.
Absolutely. And you guys picked an up and coming community too. So yeah, it's skyrocketing.
They're building a school 2 blocks to the right also, which is so perfect. Yeah, it was awesome. We bought the house and we got our tax assessment a month ago. Yeah. We've only been here for 6-7 months, and it was already 30 grand more than we paid for it. And I was like, yes, here we go. This is that opportunity that I need so that I can create the business of my dreams going forward. I'll eat shit right now.
Absolutely.
And we want a new couch so bad. And I'm like, babe, between a new couch and funding your business, Sarah wants to do a preschool or a daycare.
That's a brilliant business.
Yeah. It's good, consistent revenue.
Yes.
It's residual income.
And a much needed service.
Exactly.
A much needed service.
So I was like, you know what? Between a $2,000 couch and putting $2 grand into your business, let's keep the couch we both hate.
Hey, cheers to that, man. Business all the way.
Yeah, business all the way. Just hustle and crush it. Because I don't even know how I got such a hot girl, and now she even said she'd marry me.
Good on you, by the way. Good on you. Good on you. You guys are a good-looking couple. Not only you guys a good-looking couple, you're a quirky good-looking couple, and you guys got the vibes, that you see some couples and they're great looking, but they just have no chemistry, and they're bickering. And then I see you two at the event. By the way, I've only known Andy for what?
4 days.
4 days.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And we're moving quick here.
Yeah, I like
you a lot. It's an instant brothership. We know this guy means business, and we got to make it happen. Yeah. But I love you and your girl. You guys just have such awesome chemistry.
Oh, well, we're going to go on some double dates. And
heck yeah.
Do some awesome things.
Absolutely.
Play your cards right. You might get invited to the wedding.
Ooh.
Jamaica.
Ooh, I should have brought a 12-pack.
Don't worry. There's plenty of booze here. That's one of the things I'm always worried about. Well, I keep buying booze, and there's no way in a lifetime I could drink all the booze that's in the house. Well, I guess I could. People are always like, why don't you throw a party when I say that?
That's the trick. Host the party.
I guess I could get people to pay.
Yep. Just host the party, and you'll just have a year's worth of booze.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of booze.
You know what you could do as the cannabis som? Just tell people, bring whatever bottle you want, your favorite bottle of liquor, and I'll mix it for you.
Ooh,
boom,
bam, that's
done.
It. That's
done.
It. I think I need to diversify in my events and start doing way more events. And it's bring your own booze, bring your own cannabis. I'll teach you how to make everything and anything with both of them.
Hey.
Because I need to figure out. That's one of my struggles right now. Is figuring out how to diversify my revenue streams and how I can start creating consistent income between doing the dinners. Because at this point, it's if I'm only doing a dinner a month, there's a lot of opportunities going forward. But doing a dinner a month, it's that doesn't make enough money at all. So I need to figure out something, how I can teach people or how I can create some kind of income.
We got lots to talk about.
Okay.
We got lots and lots to talk about because this in the past 2 years, that was my exact focus. How do I create multiple revenue streams with the goal of indestructible income? Shout out to Grant Cardone.
Awesome.
how do we create indestructible income? And it's, you got to obviously got to have your earned income. You got to have your passive income stream, right? That takes some work. And then after that, like, where's my investment? Where's my big investment? I like how you got the investment. And here's the funny part. I think this is where you and I really clicked, because you talked about how you quit your high paying job to pursue your goals and your dream company. And that right there, when I was like, this guy's the man. That's why I left Toronto, and recently I had just turned down a 6-figure offer to make sure I stay and keep focusing on the momentum I built with Booost.
That's legit.
And that's when you said that, I was like, yo, this guy knows what's up.
That's awesome.
This guy knows what's up.
And I guess, well, you know, something people should, like, I'm scared. Like, I'm like, damn, what's my next play? Like, what's the next move? How do I create something more? And it's so crazy to hear you like go through your I'm sure, you know, there's peaks and there's valleys, and to turn down a 6-figure job at this point, but I'm sure you see like the sunrise is coming up over the horizon right now for your CBD company. Like, this is the moment where it's like, this is the internet boom and you're Jeff Bezos like doing Amazon. It's a big moment. And what's interesting, I talk to a lot of people in the States, and I see a lot of people in the States, and there's a lot of CBD players in the States.
Definitely.
Massive. Seems to be like a very forgotten market in Canada for some reason.
Exactly.
Which I'm just so confused about, because
neglected.
It's
completely neglected.
Nobody's looking at it like a health food product like everybody is in the United States. I'm talking to that high couple, and they're telling me they're selling CBD stuff in Walmart health section and whatever, and it's like, well, that'll never happen here, but like, will people ever even have the acceptance? So totally pivoted turn with CBD. What's the effective dose? Because I've heard that medicinally, it's 5 to 15 milligrams per kilogram of body weight if it's ingested. But inhalation is a completely different, unmeasurable thing. Do you know any of this data? Or do you have any anecdotal evidence for yourself? I have one story that I'd love to tell you. Yes, I'd love to hear that story. But to answer the question, I think at the end of the day, it all wraps back up to that universal answer that's different for everyone. Yeah, right. Everybody's biochemistry is different. Exactly. And that's universal for all cannabis. With CBD in particular, because there's very, very light side effects. Like, at worst, you would get sleepy, which is why people love using it for sleep. Or you might get a headache. Yeah. So because of, if you, just like all cannabis, it's great in little bits. It gives you, your euphoria, your pain-free, lighthearted attitude, right? Peaceful state of mind. Just a little bit too much, it does the opposite. So with CBD, dosage is always the third major question after we solve the first three main ones. Yeah. Okay. After they figure out what is CBD, how does it work, how do I use it? And then once they figure out what product they use, we built the tool right into Booost.ca, so that you can actually click the button. 3 O's. Boost. 3 O's, guys. Boost. The extra O is for originality. And so there's actually tools on Booost.ca. So you could bring your aunt, you could bring your brother, you can bring whoever, and click it. And our goal was, can we teach you about CBD within 5 clicks? Okay. Right. So after you figure out what is CBD, can you find the product to use? And then we get into dosage, and that's the big enigma wrapped in a big question mark there. Right. It's always going to go back to start low and go slow. Even with CBD, you recommend that? Even with CBD, because it's way more effective than some people think. Right. Okay. It's way more effective, and what people don't understand is that they're waiting for such a visceral effect. Like, you take a shot of tequila, you get warm, you get tingly, you get buzzed. Yep. You take even like a little piff of a joint, you're going to feel it. CBD is not the same, right? You only feel it if there's something wrong, quotation marks, lack of a better word. Much like if you and I just took, say, an Advil right now, we wouldn't feel a damn thing. Yeah. Well, my shoulder's killing me. We got to get you that bar. You're going to feel nothing. By the time we come back from the break, that shoulder's going to be free range rolling. I love it. But if we took, let's say, I'll just use Advil. If I took Advil right now on a good day, I wouldn't feel anything. Right. It's not going to do anything. It's not really doing anything. But if you have a hangover and you take Advil,
you're going to feel a lot. And what you're feeling is the dissipation of whatever ailment you're having.
That's a very interesting way that I've never heard anybody put it. CBD is really only noticeable if there's something to notice it on.
Bingo. Ones who are more in tune with, say, their self-awareness of their body and connection with their body, they will feel like, holy cow, I'm much calmer. My mood is much more stabilized.
Yeah.
A lot of those effects, but for your general person who doesn't know much about CBD, they're really looking for something.
Right. They want that feeling. They want to be fucked up.
Exactly.
Like, that's it.
Exactly.
And you know what? If you want to feel, this is where I was going to go with my story. I was in California and I got given Papa and Barkley's 1,000 milligrams.
Big brand.
Huge brand.
Big brand. Love the branding.
Lots of money behind them.
Really.
Beautiful packaging. Everything about it was just really well done, in my opinion. I was like, this is a great standard to take. Anyways, so I was leaving the next day, but I really wanted to try this product. Edibles are usually ineffective for me, even though I had my first psychedelic edibles experience recently.
Really?
Yeah, Sarah can take 2,000 milligrams of stuff and not feel a thing. She's like
you guys have iron livers.
Yeah, she's intense. I don't even know what's up with her. But I was like, I want to feel an effect from CBD because I have never had a noticeable effect from it. It's never, like, I've consumed CBD cannabis and I haven't seen any noticeable effect. CBD isolates. Anyways, so I take it's in an MCT oil tincture, 1,000 milligrams, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try and chug as much of this bottle as I can. So I think I got like 3/4 of it down.
Whoa, hold on a second. How strong was this bottle?
1,000 milligrams. Well, because as I understood, the effective medicinal dose was 5 to 15 milligrams per kilogram.
Okay.
So, and I always usually overdo it by 2 or 3 times. So
right.
let's just, if I could have finished all of it, I would have. To be honest, it would just start grossing me out. And for the first time, I felt the medicinal effects of CBD. I got on a plane. I went to LAX, and like, usually I'm all panicked going through security, and I don't like being at the airport, and I feel sick. I will always feel nauseous as I get to the airport. I felt great.
There you go.
I was just like, it was like, I've never taken Xanax or any of those kind of drugs.
Likewise.
But if I could imagine what that might do for somebody to make them just like, and not that I became a zombie and lost my personality.
No, that's not what it does.
But I just felt like good, centered, almost like the afterglow of mushrooms. It just took away my gut feeling.
Bingo. And you know what? That kind of is what I mean by THC gets you high, CBD keeps you grounded.
Because CBD kind of is a psychoactive, right? Like, is it 100%? Like, I understand the idea that it's not psychoactive as a drug or a hallucinogenic or a psychedelic, but it is psychoactively interacting with your mind, right? Because it does have benefits. No. Help me out here, because I'm not
no problem. So I'll try and get technical without completely just being wrong.
Yeah.
Because the science isn't my forte.
Oh, that's fair.
But why you have psychoactive effects? Because in your endocannabinoid system, and to just gloss over it really quickly for our beginners here, you have a bunch of systems in your body. You have your skeletal system, your digestive system. You also have something called an endocannabinoid system, which naturally uses cannabinoids, which are just molecules of cannabis plants, but your body naturally produces
comes in
it well.
meats and cheeses and stuff too.
Bingo, you got it. But what THC does is it actually binds and connects to your CB1 receptors, which are most apparent in your brain and your central nervous system,
right?
Which is what gets you high.
Right.
Excuse me. CBD actually does not bind to your system.
It's a CB2.
And what it does actually, it helps your body use more of its natural endocannabinoids.
Okay.
And that's why it doesn't get you high.
Okay.
It just kind of tells your body to use more or produce more of what it's already using. So your natural endocannabinoids in the city in your body rather, are anandamide and one more, I can't remember.
I don't remember it.
So,
I just heard them say it a whole bunch.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So I'm not huge on the science, but that's what it is. The THC really bonds to those CB receptors.
Okay.
CB does not. It's more of just kind of like
it's bouncing
and kind of just tells your body to.
And it's getting that anandamide. Am I saying it right?
Anandamide or something.
Anandamide, whatever it is, because that's the one that comes from eating meat, and one of the ideas why people are having positive effects from keto and carnivore is that they're getting increases of in their body from the diet. So yeah, again, and then they're also finding that CBD is making anandamide. Fuck, I hate fucking up that word. I feel so dumb. Anyways, is making it last longer. The amounts that are being naturally created in the body, CBD is making those times stretch out.
I can see that.
Which is just so cool. I'm so excited to see all the data that comes about.
Yes.
Because that's the one most limited thing. Anybody who's like anti-cannabis is like, well, the studies aren't there. It's like, well, yeah, because nobody could do the studies. But
exactly,
the anecdotal evidence is there. This is the longest clinical trial of anything ever done in existence with the most anecdotal evidence.
Absolutely, thousands of years.
Right, to say that, like, there was an interesting one though that they were talking about was that maybe your genetic disposition to your regionality, or your like ethnicity, and having cannabis around you and through your generations may be the reason why people have cannabinoid deficiencies or have overreactive cannabinoid systems, cultures that don't do well with cannabis, why some cultures do really well with cannabis. They were saying like people in India have evolved with it, but if you're like a really white guy from the polar somewhere, you never having any your genetic lineage never having any interaction with it may give you a better disposition for cannabis to mess you up.
I think the logic is sound, completely sound. It's kind of the same reason why for instance that Asians are lactose intolerant. It's because that's how the Mongols took over China.
Right.
It's because the Mongols developed an enzyme that could break down and use dairy proteins, while the Chinese did not have it.
Okay.
So what happens was when Genghis Khan attacked China, and they moved that fast, even with 1/10, 1/20th of the army, they could attack at the speeds and move because China couldn't mobilize their carts and horses and whatnot. All the Mongols were on horseback, and they just drank milk.
Wow.
The Chinese could not drink milk. They could not metabolize they didn't have the enzyme to metabolize milk. Because they didn't have it, they didn't use milk.
Crazy.
While the Mongols had sheep milk.
And they could move with their energy.
Absolutely.
source.
And they would decimate the entire Chinese villages and armies, and they could move as fast as a Chinese messenger because they're all using the same technology, a horse.
Right.
So just based on that loose logic of your proximity in your region and what's available, I completely believe that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think you backed it up straight up there. That was cool.
And there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
Case closed.
Case closed. So did Genghis Khan smoke cannabis? I think the Mongolians did have a cannabis culture.
I think Asia
in general
is is the first recorded case of cannabis.
Right.
But as a medicine, I wouldn't see it being too far from fact, because even myself, I grew up with my grandmother in my house, as most Asian families do. And when I was sick, there's no Tylenol. We're going to Chinatown. We're going to the herb shop.
Cool.
They're all in big, like hay sacks. They scoop it up. Everything is bulk in China.
Yeah.
Everything bulk in Chinatown. So they scoop up what they need. I have no idea what any of these herbs are. She goes home. She boils it in a clay pot, and she serves it to you. And they always say, drink this. It's healthy for you. And it is always disgusting.
Wow.
But herbal medicine has been the go-to in my house since I was young.
Well, it's me and Sarah, when we met, it was interesting. We had a discussion of Eastern versus Western medicine. She had literally never heard the term Eastern medicine.
Interesting.
It was like that. I feel like I don't want to call her out. She was like, that's kind of like racist, and I'm like, no. Like these are long-rooted holistic healing cultures. Like there is plant medicine that's extremely obvious.
Yep.
That is long-rooted in clinical evidence.
Like for thousands of years.
Yeah, like a long time. Like and we even use like valerian root to fall asleep. Like all of these things, they've been proven in time. And to think that plant medicine can so easily be forgotten is is crazy. But I've never had it's so cool to hear you say, like, you know, you're a first generation immigrant. I'm like so fucking Canadian. I don't even know when anybody showed up here.
I swear your sweater's from Roots as we speak.
Yeah, and it literally says Canada on the back. Canada. It's across the whole back.
To paint you guys a picture, if you guys know like a sock monkey, Andy looks like the Beverly Hills sock monkey right now. Canadian sock monkey. Like,
the Beverly Hills sock monkey. I like that. I'm gonna put that on Instagram. Yeah, it's I've never had any of that culture. Like my mom was good with she liked crystals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she would adopt plant medicines and natural paths and stuff like that. But the idea that your grandmother could just go to the market and be like, you know, like this, and this is the tea that somebody's been brewing in our family for
thousands.
This is what I grew up on. Mm-hmm. I don't even know when this started, but this works. That's incredible to me. And I'd love to smell those herbs and just like, I want to know more of those stories. I feel so disconnected.
Totally.
But it's also cool to hear you say like, there was no cultural expectations on you as well.
Yeah, I to this day I don't understand. Even just I was leaving my house the other day, a couple weeks, maybe just recently this year. I'm on my way out, and my dad's like, he stops me. He goes, Donny, yeah. And he goes, I just want you to let you know, me and my dad aren't close. We don't have these close talks. But when he says that, I'm like, okay. He says, I just want to let you know that you can marry whoever you want.
Oh.
And I was like, huh? And he's like, I want you to know that your mother and I have no expectations of you. You can marry whoever they want. Obviously, they love my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Carmen. And shout out to Carmen. And I'm Chinese. My girlfriend is Caucasian. She's half German, half Canadian, I believe.
Don't pause too long. She's just a beautiful lady.
That beautiful lady, and this beautiful THC drink is buzzing right now. And he said that, and I remember leaving the door, and I'm thinking that was the nicest thing ever. And maybe that in and of itself is really a snapshot of my entire childhood. That man, they really just came here to just do the best they could.
It's really cool.
And that's why I love when Gary Vee says being an immigrant is the number one advantage, because being a first generation immigrant, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you owe your parents a shitload.
Absolutely. Everything. I owe them everything, because you saw the struggle. You understand the struggle. But in my house, there was never talk of money. Mm-hmm. There was never talk that we were poor. There was never talk that we could have not. There was just, no, we're not doing that. That's a waste. That doesn't benefit you. No, and when I'm down to the cereal, like the best cereal we had growing up was cornflakes.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. There is no Lucky Charms. There's no Fruit Loops. If we even tried to mention it, we'd get scolded in public like a good Asian family.
Yeah. Don't need that, Donny.
Exactly.
No Frosted Flakes for you. It's amazing.
And that was interesting. So to really come full circle, I really believe like that discipline, but at the same time that freedom they gave me really let me. They gave me a long leash.
Yeah, they wanted you to grow up.
They really did.
Well, it's interesting because sometimes you see people hold on to culture so strongly, and it's like, no, you have to represent who you are and what we are, and it's amazing. It's just really cool to hear. It's like, no, like, pave your own way. Were you born in Hong Kong or were you born here?
In Canada.
Okay. Yes. And it's like, yeah, Donny, we want you to just like show us what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Which is such a beautiful, cool thing. We came here to give you a great life. Grow up and be a cool person.
Yeah.
No expectations.
Exactly. And what that does is it comes back as like, I cannot fail them. Yeah. I cannot fail them. You mean you literally flew here and made an entire new life to learn a new language, to leave your bright futures in Hong Kong to come to Canada
on a few $100?
On a few $100? If you can do that, okay, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that we not only succeed but thrive and really take advantage of everything that we have. Right, really just wake up every single day and be very thankful of what we have, right? And with that energy, with that gusto, launch your ass out of bed and really just give it all you got.
Truly, every day you're awake is kind of a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's one promise, and that's you're gonna die.
Exactly.
I hate that I keep talking about Gary Vee, but it's one of the driving factors in my life is just knowing that I'm gonna die. Makes me want to be great every day, or just be pretty good. Like, I don't have to be great every day. Like, just being good's good enough. But this woman runs up to his car and she's like, 3 words. Tell me 3 words of inspiration today. And he's like, you're gonna die.
So Gary Vee.
Right?
So Gary Vee. Oh. That's the stoic side of Gary Vee.
I talk about it all the time. When did you get into Gary Vaynerchuk? When was he like?
Recently.
Okay, you're a newcomer to the school.
A fairly new.
The Church of
the
V?
Church of Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee for his oracleness. Like, he really understands social media marketing. But the thing about Gary, I don't really religiously follow him. I'm more of like a super fan, as opposed to the people I follow is Ramit Sethi, Russell Brunson, and Grant Cardone.
Okay, so I don't follow any of them. Cool.
Yeah, so those are more like extreme niche down sales and marketing types.
Cool. Okay.
So love those guys, and they're more specific and they have more tactics, and they have more products. Gary Vee doesn't sell much of a product. He's more of like the overarching
his
info
products
stream.
himself. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why I really appreciate what he does, because he's not trying to pitch you.
No,
he's not trying to pitch you, and he's being very real about it. So but he's got a very firm grasp of the future of digital marketing, and that's why I really tune in, because that guy, especially what you've done here with the passive listening and the podcast, Gary Vee's right. This will be the future.
Yeah, he sees. It's so interesting. I started watching him with Wine Library TV, which
wow.
I didn't even. You might have just heard him talk about, but I actually watched it a bunch, and like that still only has 20,000 subscribers.
Really?
Maybe 30,000 now, but most of the videos are like well under 100,000 views. Like, nobody's watching them, and it's so interesting because you'll have people like Hugh Johnson and Jancis Robinson and all these people that are like really cool to me in the wine world, like that I'm so excited about, and nobody's watching this stuff. But he gave 1,000 episodes of consistent.
1,000 he did?
Yeah, so he quit out at like 992, and he did them every day or every second day for 3 years. And yeah, he quit out, and then he came back when he was famous and did like the next 1,000. But it's interesting that he started that, and it was like one video where he said some stupid shit about Smurfs or something that actually went viral in like 2008 and got him on Ellen. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to capitalize on this. And this was around the time that he had invented the email marketing newsletter. Or this was one of the interesting things with Wine Library. I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about the story. He was one of the guys to pioneer the email newsletter and start selling wine through his email newsletter. Okay. And he was the very first person to do a wine vlog and start selling wine through the vlog.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it was that one viral video, and he's like, okay, I got to keep capitalizing, and just literally kept doing the videos. And still, it's so fucked up. Nobody watches them. And when he became, like, he grew that business to like $160 million a year business from like a $6 million business. 160 Wine Library is the literal store. Wine Library TV. His dad is on Instagram. Sasha Vaynerchuk.
Shout out Sasha Vaynerchuk.
Dude, he'll reply to you in the comments. Like, he's there. Sasha's out there watching. All these guys, you want to see AJ Vaynerchuk, like any of those guys in his family, they'll reply to you. Everybody except for Gary Vaynerchuk. But that's okay. One day I'll get him to reply to me.
Yeah.
Gary, if you're listening, come be my Jancis Robinson moment. I keep asking you.
Have you ever sent him a video?
No, but I probably should send him a video.
Yeah.
Or just start like a hardcore campaign online where it's like, I might call it like, you know how he has a show Ask Gary Vee?
Yeah, yeah.
I might start hashtag like Ask Gary Vee to be on my podcast.
I bet you and I could come up with something between us and all our iPhones.
Yeah.
And our gimbals, we could come up with some prolific content.
Without a doubt, I could get him on the phone if we really tried. Fuck, I think I should challenge myself to this now. If I really tried, I feel like I could get him on the phone in the next month.
In 1 month?
Yeah, in 1 month, without a doubt, I think I could have him on the phone for at least 15 minutes.
I will, as an honored guest, I will hold you to that.
Fuck.
March 19th, which is right after St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for because it'll take a lot. Like, it won't be easy. It'll be me on Twitter sending him like 15 tweets a day, maybe 25 tweets a day, and I'll be making content directed directly towards him on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Who's his team? Because if it can't get through to him, who should we send it to that will pass it to him?
Well, it's so interesting. His email is Gary at VaynerMedia.com. Somebody sent me his phone number like 2 weeks ago and was like, yo, here's Gary Vaynerchuk's phone number. Text him.
Okay.
I have it right here. I think it's in my phone.
I learned this from Grant Cardone. This is in the sales university. What we do, we don't text him. We text him a video.
Yeah, I sent him a sick video. I want to see if I saved his number. I know I have it in an email, but I don't think it's his actual direct one. But I texted him. I said, what's up? Gary V. It's your boy.
Cannabis Sum. What's going on, Gary?
No, it's right here. I didn't even save it. Because you know what? I'll be super honest. It got sent to me in an email, and it was like, this is my phone number, and it was from Gary at VaynerMedia and everything, and I was like...
Shout out to white iPhone X's.
XS? Did you get the X?
Oh, no, this is the X.
I got the XS. I just got to rub it in a little.
Oh, I thought we were best friends till now.
No, but you're doing cool things with yours. You got stuff that I haven't even seen before.
The magic of the iPhone.
What was that app that you were talking about? Okay, so here it is. Here's Gary Vaynerchuk's phone number. Do you want it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, here. Okay. There you go. This email's from Gary at GaryVaynerchuk.com.
Get out of here. Actually, yo, watch this video, but here's a punchline. I've switched my text platform. I have an epic new one. So that's his number right there.
That's the number.
Okay, it's on.
I know. I'm like, I don't want to give it away.
No, we're not going to give it away.
We're not going to give it away.
We're going to test it first. We're going to test it first. Don't worry, guys. We'll test it first.
And see if he replies, and then you can have
test it first.
Should we try calling it right now while we're on podcast? I'm going to try calling it. Absolutely. It's busy. I bet people are calling it all day. We'll try calling it one more time. Imagine if Gary Vaynerchuk picked up the phone right now.
On Ask Gary V.
The number you have reached is not in service. Please check
we got ghosted.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Sending out dead phone numbers.
Well, you know what's interesting though is this is Gary at GaryVaynerchuk.com. But I heard if you want to get in contact with him, you gotta email Gary at VaynerMedia.com. And that's it. He reads his emails. Like, it's him reading his emails. So honestly, yeah, if you want to get in touch with him, probably send him a different video a day, and then create Instagram content.
Yeah.
And then micro content as well. Tag him in your stories so that he could repost it. And you'd be able to connect with him in 21 days.
Here's a question for you. How are you utilizing your social media? Are you mainly on Instagram?
No, I'm it's cool, Gary V. I was like, I can't just be on Instagram because if Instagram disappears tomorrow, I can't be screwed.
Right, that's right.
My YouTube channel's been doing really well lately. Like, not that my numbers are crazy, but I'm closer to 800 subscribers than I am 700 subscribers now. And those numbers of real organic followers, of actual engaged viewers, is blowing my mind. Like, to know that 1,000 people are like 750 people are subscribed on YouTube.
Heck yeah,
is serious. Like, to get that many subscribers is actually mind boggling.
They have to, like, when you're starting out, correct me if I'm wrong, are they like literally digging you out of a haystack to find you? Yeah, because that algorithm isn't very new user friendly.
You have to create your content and you have to create more content, and it's like but even past creating the content, getting somebody to subscribe is so hard. Like, I'll even talk to people in person. Like, I'm sure you're not I know you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. And I'll have people stand beside me and I'm like, yo, just subscribe to it for me. And they're like, no, I don't have a YouTube account. And I'm like, do you have a Gmail? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's literally your YouTube account, dude. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, right.
And people still will, like, not do it, or like just whatever. So anyways, the most uphill battle and the hardest part of the algorithm for YouTube and how to become noticed is subscribers, but it has to be active subscribers. So, like, there's a few dudes, I don't even know who this guy is, but 9-inch colas, shout out to you. Thanks for watching all my videos.
Good job, 9-inch colas.
Thanks for commenting on them. Every time you comment on them, it prioritizes me in the algorithm.
Interesting.
Yeah, my subscribers, if my subscribers are watching, this is what the back internet says. If my subscribers are watching and commenting, then it's more likely to prioritize me in the actual feed.
Interesting. Very interesting.
yeah, who knows if that's real or not, but
And what kind of gear are you using when you film your YouTube? Is it a polished or is it more like vlogging style? Like what's your strategy around that?
everything is junk. Like this is what I tell everybody. If you have any excuse to not do it, then they're literally just excuses. The camera I use, that's the camera I use for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
It's a Canon EOS Rebel SL1. My girl got that in like 2012, 2011. Like it's like an 8 or 9 year old camera. Shoots in 1080p.
Yeah.
I went and bought the fastest writing memory card I could with the money I had. I had like $100. I got like a 64 gig card.
That's how it's done, baby.
The microphone is... I was looking between the Rode microphone and this Takstar one, and it was basically a difference of like $100. This one's $60. The other one's $160.
Rode's up there.
This one is apparently great, and the only problem was that it didn't have as much bass to it as the Rode. So I was like, oh, I'm an audio engineer. I can turn up the bass.
Really?
So I used the cheapest freaking thing, and it's Jimmy rigged on there. Like I got it taped onto that mic stand. The lights are the most expensive part behind the camera, and there's the one box light that is $65. There's the LED with the softbox on it. Altogether, that's with the cord to plug in. That's like $50.
And can I just add this? The reason why is because when I walked in here, I was definitely not jealous, but when I was in here, I was like, yes, this guy's doing it. Because the same thing, we understand we have to build content, but at the same time, we understand, hey, just like you and I, when we first walked in, we're like, the iPhone can do anything.
Yeah.
And we understand that, listen, this beautiful high-end content, it's not the end-all be-all now. It's really just, it's the quality of the content, right? And it's the volume of the content. The
microphones are $50.
Yeah, and it's going to sound fantastic. Put some bass in my voice, okay?
I will. I always put bass in both our voices, actually. If there's a pro tip for anybody that's listening to this, that's like, shit, I want to do a podcast. One of the EQ and mastering things that I do is I'll add mids and lows to both of our voices, and then I'll put a compressor on to both of our voices, and then I'll put a master compressor so that it's loud like a dance music song. All the things I learned from producing dance music.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You produce dance music?
Yeah, I do this to everybody. I released that album in 2014.
Fangs.
D-Fangs, that was me. I was a resident for Blueprint. One of the founding members of the Knock Deluxe Collective. So like when you're talking about all the shows you used to promote, that's a world I deeply come from. Like it was what I wanted to do with my life, and basically everything I do now are all of my failed lessons from music.
Yes.
I have like 65 tracks on my computer of tunes I've wrote that I never released because I was too worried about compiling another full-length album so that I could be this big dick swinger with an hour and a half of music, when I should just showed people my progression and all the crap that I was making, and just like giving people more of an example of that I was a real person and my authenticity.
I feel I struggle with that now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I struggle with that on all counts. Like I feel like sometimes I don't want to show enough because I feel like I'm bragging. But at the same time, at the back of my mind, I know it's like, you have to show the journey. And then but when I try and show the journey, I always try to, there you go. I always try to make it perfect, right? As that artist side of me, I always try to make it perfect. And it stunts me.
Yeah, you gotta just not make anything perfect. That was one of the big things I used to talk about when I wrote music was I would write with sour keys. Like you saw the basement. I love to jam. I love music. I love playing
you have the
instruments.
NPC down there.
I would always talk to like my musician friends, and I got to meet like some of the most famous touring musicians in the world, and I would always talk about sour keys in music. I would write off notes in music because I thought that it would attract people's attention to my mistake, and it would engage the listener.
Very deep.
Yeah, it worked. It's fucking, like, honestly, people would look at me like I was fucking mental. But you know what? Like, when you hear somebody screw up or something that doesn't sound right, it sounds right in its place, but it's not perfect or shiny like it should be in that moment.
Right.
It fucking makes you want to listen to critique it. And if you can make that next phrase the one, then that's how you connect the listener. anyways, I wish I had just like talked about more of these things
Yeah.
to people that weren't just professional musicians or people in the industry. I wish I had shared my journey from like literally playing on a CDJ for my first time all the way to buying, I wish I could have shared my experience of financing my DJ gear for my first time.
Yes.
And fucking being in so much debt as an 18-year-old trying to pay for my DJ gear.
Tell
and
me about it.
Dodging calls from Long and McQuaid
Yep.
over and over. They
Yep.
literally, in the end, they fucking cut a deal with me. Like, I didn't even pay for absolutely everything. And, like, it's crazy to think that that's where it started with this shitty Pioneer DDJ T1 controller. My headphones almost cost. I got the HDJ 2000 headphones because I thought I needed fucking the sickest headphones to be the sickest DJ.
Right.
Those got stolen like at my album release party. Actually, that was a real
bummer.
kick in the pants. I know. I shouldn't have got so drunk.
Bummer.
But now to like collecting vinyl and like restoring Tech 12s and if my whole dream was, do you know who Dog Blood is? It's Skrillex and Boys Noise. They've only played together 3 times. I don't know why I would even ask you.
Don't know Dog Blood, but the other two, obviously.
Yeah, so as they play together, they're called Dog Blood.
Really?
Yeah, so I saw them at Coachella in 2013 for their like second ever performance. And Boys Noise was playing all vinyl and Skrillex was playing with MIDI instruments. And I was like,
wild.
This is what I need to fucking do. I'd gotten into DJing. I was like slowly producing music. I was making beats. And I was like, this is the most engaging performance. I might have been a little high, but this is the most engaging performance I've ever seen from a DJ. This guy's creating music, altering sound, and this guy is like traditionally hardcore DJing.
Crazy.
So yeah, that was the system I built, and it's so interesting now that I'm going to go back and vinyl DJ this Friday, and I have all the other tools finally built. Like I culminated all of the things I wanted, and then got out of DJing. I used to piss. I worked for Blueprint. I used to piss. Well, I don't know if I actually pissed Mikey DeRose off, but I feel like I used
Mikey.
Yeah, I'm sure you know him. You're Asian. You're
Yeah, I
from
know
the
Mikey.
music scene.
Yeah,
How could you not know
Mikey, Kerry Chang, all the OGs.
Yeah, all the OGs. They're great guys. Without Habitat, I never would have had any of my come-ups. That's where I played my very first show. That's where I released my album. That's where I met Sarah, where I first laid eyes on her.
Very cool.
Yeah, Habitat means a lot, and I owe a lot to those guys. But I used to do these like super elaborate stage setups. Like I'd bring out all these fucking not stupid, but I'd bring out all these MIDI instruments and I'd like set up all this stuff and I'd be playing it like 9 to 10.
Do you know Sandro Petrillo?
No. I don't know anybody. I'm useless. See, I didn't network myself the way that I should have.
It's just because you all got the same vibes, and you're all in the same interest, that you all have the same like expertise, especially in that realm, that house or
Sandro.
electronic.
Yeah, I feel like I want to say yes, but it's been years since I've even been to a nightclub now because I just
likewise. Yeah. Well, they're all in Toronto, but when they're in Calgary, they were they were kind of in that same sphere.
I think I think the disconnect is that I'm a lot younger than you think I am.
How old are you?
I never say it on the podcast, but I'm 20.
Lift up some
I'm
fingers.
25.
What?
Yeah.
You're like the most responsible 25-year-old ever.
I know. Well, Sarah's older than me.
Little bit.
Yeah, and she really tunes me in, but I had a lot of, I don't know. I've always been told I'm an old soul, and I don't.
Yes, you are.
I don't feel like at any point I'm 25. Like I think about how old I am, and I'm like, my biggest advantage is that I have all the time to fuck up.
You nailed it. You nailed it right there. And let's wrap this into the second biggest key for our younger listeners. In your 20s, take risks, fuck up, and fuck up faster, and learn from them. But sorry for interrupt. Please tell me your story. That's amazing.
Oh, I don't even know. I just without Sarah, like I'd be screwed. But it's interesting, right? When I met her, I was 21. She was 27. She thought I was older than her. I thought she was younger than me. It was like multiple dates in where we actually figured out that I was like way younger.
Yeah.
But the way our priorities kind of lined up worked out so perfect. And it's not like the expectation of marriage or a house or kids or anything like that. Just not even a professional standard either. Just like this is kind of where you should be in life and what you should want from life. And there was one hard conversation. She's gonna hate this if she listens back, but she was like, you know, you're kind of being a loser, and I was like, fuck, you're right, I am a fucking loser.
Shout outs to the good men, the good women out there,
and that made me want to work really fucking way harder.
Absolutely.
I didn't want to be a loser, and that was kind of the moment. And I was like 22 or 23 years old. That's like the prime time to be a loser. And I just couldn't handle that statement. I was like, I love this girl. I don't want anybody to ever think I'm a loser. And so, you know, the fear, I talk about this sometimes. It's the fear of failure. Fear is what drives me. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest motivating factor. Fear of dying tomorrow, fear of failing, fear of not being accountable for somebody. That's why I tend to say a lot of things out loud that I probably shouldn't say. Only because I want somebody to either be like, yes, you were right, congratulations on doing it, or why the fuck would you say that if you're not actually going to do it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
it's all part of being authentic, man. That's the only way to be authentic. Speak your words, man.
Sometimes it might get me in trouble, though. I feel like I make too many promises because of it, and I might take too much onto my plate. But Mario in episode 2 said it best. He's like, sometimes you kind of need too much on your plate to figure out where your priorities lay. And
you're damn right. You're damn right. And I think every high achiever and every dreamer and every person who has the wherewithal to even pursue their dreams, they always end up there, because you don't reach your dreams unless you push past barriers and push past your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. Anyone who stays in our comfort zone has those excuses, like you said earlier. Anyone who doesn't push, anyone who doesn't venture out into the wilderness, you will never find what you seek.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in your sphere of comfortability, you only get what's fed to you.
Totally.
And what you're doing, and what I think anyone that anyone that creates, pushes, breaks, fixes things, and they're always very cognizant of, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying my best, and I'm going, whatever happens, we're going to fix it from there.
Totally.
And I think that those are the characteristics of really what an entrepreneur is at the end of the day.
I would agree. Yeah, the will to endure on.
The grit.
Smart enough to know when to pivot.
Exactly. And that's only learned, that pivot, because that's the biggest one. Mm-hmm. That's the key to success, because you have to be able to take your idea, you have to know if it's right, if it's wrong, but that pivot only comes from experience.
Yeah.
Some may be able to pivot all willy-nilly and just, take a stab at it, but the experience really allows you to know, like, hold on, don't get romanced by your idea. If I make this quick pivot here, we're rocking and rolling, we're good to go. Totally.
And that's not to say you shouldn't stay on that foot for a while, because all those skills come. I feel like I'm talking about the pivot so widely now. I don't know the demographic of listener, but I feel like the young listener should know that you should eat shit, and you should take shitty jobs.
Yes.
In shitty places, and anything that interests you, you should take a job in. Because the reality is those skills will culminate at a point. Hopefully it's when you're 23 like Donny, or 25 like me, where you get to do your literal dream job at that moment in your life.
Absolutely. And to your point about eating shit, I think that casts such a light, like, oh, it's going to be suffering, you have to pay your dues. But I think within that, when you show up to eat shit, it's understanding at that phase, you're eating shit phase. You're only eating shit because you're not worth anything to the market. Mm-hmm. You're fresh, you're young, you have no experience, you have no work ethic, you have no understanding of how to create anything. So yes, you need to eat shit because you're not worth anything to the market. What you need to do is understand hard work, and you need to understand how to work at a level of excellence.
Totally.
And that comes in minding the details of really performing a high level service to whoever's in front of you, right? When a manager tells you to do something, don't talk back, right?
Yeah,
little things like, if you're wrong, admit to it and move on.
Totally.
That's the whole eating shit phase.
Oh,
it's,
man.
it's learning how to be humble. It's learning how to be of service. It's learning how to be part of the team so you have enough experience so that you can eventually venture out on your own and create. Because guess what? The people you hire, you have to learn how to deal with them because they
Yep.
were just like you when you were 17.
Exactly. I literally ate shit. I was a plumber's apprentice. Through school, I did the registered apprenticeship program and then did it when I came out of school too. And most fucked up thing was, as an apprentice, like, I did the same work that every other first year apprentice was expected to do. But because I was subsidized through school and I got to leave school to go work, I wasn't allowed to be paid as much. So I got paid $15 an hour all the way through high school, where all of my peers were making 22 and then progressing up. But as I'm eating shit, quite literally, because I'm a construction plumber, I'm learning about working for other people, working for people I absolutely hate, working with coworkers that are bullies, being the lowest on the totem pole. I got called Little Nut for 2 years of my life. That's all anybody referred to me as.
Little nug?
Little Nut.
Little nut.
Little Nut. As I learned to perfect details. Because if you don't do something right in a construction job to a measurement, they fucking rip it out. It's wrong. You're literally costing money. And so even though I hated the position I was in, I hated the people I worked for, I hated the people that I was around, I understood that doing a good job was the biggest reward at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
As long as you do things perfect or absolutely to the best of your ability, then you get to go home as satisfied as you can be, which is such a fucking weird concept. That job sucked ass. And I cleaned bathrooms at the Stampede for years as well.
Speaking about bathroom.
Yeah, you
can we
go
cut
for a
out
pee?
that? Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to pause it for a sec.
We might have to switch you to a tincture, but this bar has been working.
No, it was, I did it when I was a plumber. That was actually how I left plumbing, was I refused unsafe work.
Yeah.
And then they called me a pussy and told me to do it.
Yeah.
It was minus 30. We were running a new gas line at a roofing materials plant. And I'd have to go 200 yards, pick up these lengths of pipe that had been sitting out in the cold, and then carry them over my shoulder, tie a slip knot on this piece of pipe, climb a ladder 3 stories, and then hoist this piece of pipe up by the rope piece by piece. There's no safety rail, so when the pipe got like halfway over, I just have to grab it with one hand and kind of like throw it up onto the roof. And so I just snapped at my journeyman, telling him that I wanted him to move his van, because I was like, I'm going to drop one of these pipes and it's going to go literally right through the middle of your van.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, dude, I'm getting tired. Like, I've done like 14 of these today.
Yeah.
I'm 18. Like, I'm a 135 pound dude. Like, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
And so we got in a fight, like a yelling fight, and I felt so awkward. And he like pissed off, moved his truck. And so I'm doing the next length of pipe, and I'm pulling this rope hand over hand, and I'm doing it really fast to like prove him like, fuck you, I'm not just some kid. And the rope snaps, and it like jerks my arms, because this is a big piece of pipe, like an 85-pound piece of pipe, 3/4 inch pipe, 22-foot length, and this pipe literally falls from 3 stories up, like it had just crescented over the top of this roof, 3 stories up, literally straight in the middle of where his van would have been.
Damn.
And goes ding, 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 and like pole vaults all the way through this huge construction materials yard. And it's just like, oh, good thing you told me to move my van. I'm like, you motherfucker. So I woke up the next day and I came to work and I tried to climb that same ladder, and I literally couldn't lift my hands above my head. And I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Don't be a wimp. And I'm like trying, and I'm like 3 rungs up this ladder crying.
Right.
With like all these guys who are my journeymen in construction were like these huge burly dudes, you know, macho role model examples, somebody I never wanted to be like a weak dude in front of. And I'm full tears. I'm like, I can't do this. And yeah, that was the moment. And I had a dual rotator cuff injury, tore both my rotator cuffs, and I was 18 at this point, and I was like, so I went through WCB and dealt with all that bullshit. And the reality of it was, I probably would have been a plumber because I didn't have many aspirations in life at this point. But I realized that if I got hurt in a point where I had a mortgage or I had a family or whatever, and I had to deal with the WCB again, in such a clear, obvious claim, and they weren't giving me my money, that like I wouldn't. This is not worth my livelihood. So why would I ever do this for my career? And that was when I was like, yeah, I'm done working with my hands.
That's incredible, and I'd like to link it to the point where you and I always say that everything's possible from the iPhone now.
Oh yeah,
because I think that's where you and I really understand the capabilities of what you can scale and what you can build, right? The fact that this phone, this little piece of, what is it, 6-inch piece of glass, can run an entire what took companies 20 years ago, entire departments. We can do distribution, we can do marketing, we can do sales, we can do our accounting, we can do payroll, we can do fulfillment, we can do our order processing. That's just for the business side. That's not even that's not even counting the fact that this thing can launch a satellite to the moon, is more powerful than the computers that they use to send that satellite to the moon. Like, it's incredible.
I love that you listen to the podcast. Yes. Your phone is the biggest fucking tool on earth.
Ever.
Like, ever. The fact that we have these iPhone 10s in our pockets, try and buy a laptop 5 years ago that was as powerful as the phone in your pocket.
No chance.
Try and buy a digital camera right now for less than $500 or $600 that has the same camera as any smartphone made in the last 3 years.
Really? Is it that?
Yeah, they're incredible.
Powerful? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really fucking awesome.
Wow.
Like, it blows my mind when I think back of all the things I used to carry around in my backpack when I was a young skater kid with my digital camera and my cell phone and my MP3 player, and now that all of that is literally unlimited in one device in my pocket with extreme processing power. Like, I got the new iPhone only because it shoots in 4K 60 frames per second.
What?
Yeah.
That thing shoots in 4K.
4K 60 frames.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
And so now you think about it, and it's like, what was that? The Black Widow cameras, the Red Widow cameras 10 years ago. If you bought a $100,000 camera a decade ago, my iPhone does the same quality.
Jeez, can you imagine that?
Oh, that's a real slap in the dick.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I got in a huge fight. I have some buddies. I don't even want to say where it is because I don't want them to connect the story. But I got in a fight with a guy who is a movie producer, who has produced movies, who has written movies, directed movies, about the state of creating content today. And he told me there's no way that you could shoot a TV show or a movie for $100,000. And I told him I could shoot it for free on my iPhone today.
Yeah.
And I'll edit it with iMovie.
100%.
And he's telling me there's no way. And I was like, dude, you're so fucking old in your thought path that I can't make a blockbuster movie or at least a Sundance Film Festival quality movie. My phone shoots 4K, 100%. 60 frames per second.
How long ago did this conversation happen?
5 months ago.
Dude, Netflix, my boy just messaged me because they know how my quest is to build an entire company off the iPhone.
Okay.
And there's a movie on Netflix. It's called like the High Flying Birds or something like that.
Okay.
It's about... Is
that shot on iPhone?
Completely shot on the iPhone.
Really?
Completely shot on the iPhone.
It was a pretty bad movie. I fell asleep in it. But...
Yeah. The only reason is because I went in knowing it was shot on the iPhone. So my interest level was already through the roof, an 11 out of 10.
I need to send that to this guy because like, that's a big fuck you. And I bet they did it on 2 or 3 iPhones.
Exactly.
Damn.
And the cool thing about the iPhone is like you can get in some really cool angles, right? You can place it in different places, right? It's so tiny. You can do complete following track shots in the tightest spaces.
It's interesting.
Very long tracking shots too.
If you're shooting everything in iPhone, it almost gives you another opportunity of angle from the person holding the phone's perspective because all of the shots would be continuous in the same quality.
Yeah. And you notice it in the movie because like the blacks aren't as true as the blacks. The angles are different.
I noticed the angles were weird, and
Right?
I noticed the coloration was weird.
And it puts you off at first if you don't know what's going on. You do kind of lose interest because you're like, okay, this is weird.
It felt like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Did you ever see that
I never
movie?
saw that.
Okay, with Mos Def, it's I only actually ever watched it on psychedelics,
Yes.
but it was fucking crazy. But it was framed the same way. I don't know. There's just something about the way that everything was framed that just reminded me so much of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Way better book than movie.
Really?
Movie was so trippy. It was just like the plot hole. There's too many plot holes that make sense in the book that don't make sense as you try and rush a movie. You can't explain absolutely everything.
Right.
Yeah, fuck that movie. God, I'm like thinking about that. I'm remembering a moment right now where I looked in the mirror, and this was like the first time I did a whole bunch of, well, it wasn't a whole bunch. I think I did 3 grams of mushrooms. Yes. And it was like the first time I had ever really eaten mushrooms.
Yep.
And I looked in the mirror, and my whole face was it looked like I had a fingerprint on my face, but every line of the fingerprint was like shifting in a different direction.
Oh, that's why I love shrooms. Everything is moving.
Oh,
love it.
Man, I'll never forget Buddy's dad coming home, because this was the one kicker. I didn't think they were coming home. Like, I thought we would not be like, this is the dumbass kid in me. I thought we wouldn't be fucked when his parents came home, or that they weren't coming home. And dude's parents came home, and we were like
flying
in the basement, like just
yeah
mind boggled.
Interdimensional Rick and Morty shit.
Exactly. And dude's dad is Polish. So the guy he's literally, his dad comes downstairs and he's in a blanket and he hides like this. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a terrible. I have my sweater over my head like a babushka, by the way, for everybody listening. And his dad, he's like, hi dad, and he's like, hello. And he's like, how's it going? He's like, this is good. And he's like, how was the auction? Because they went to like a silent auction. He's like, well, let me tell you. And this dude gets super close up on our face, doesn't sit down. He's like, vroom, right in our face. He's like, so I buy a paintball package. I buy the paintball package for $300. The paintball package is for 12 people. 12 people plus 500 balls. Everybody gets a gun, 2 Pepsis, 1 hot dog, and a ride there, ride back. Okay? So you have 300 balls, 12 people, 2 Pepsis, 1 hot dog. I got this for $300. Okay, so that makes it every person $18 plus a hot dog. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, that's basically all I remember from that night.
Psychedelics, man, it's a hell of a drug. Psychedelics over powders, any day, all day.
Yeah, drugs are a hell of a drug.
Oof.
I'm a huge advocate for LSD,
Same
mushrooms.
Yeah, totally. Psychedelics over powders all day, every day.
I've never tried DMT, but one of my guests, I don't know if you listened to that episode, but with Adam Blanchard, Small Beats, he talks about he was a cocaine addict, and he actually talks about doing DMT for a month straight and curing himself of his cocaine addiction.
What? That's incredible.
Intense.
Because and why I say this, because I'm very much against cocaine. It's just the one most socially accepted drug.
It's everywhere.
Well,
you come from the club culture.
Well, I come from the club culture and the depths of the street culture, and cocaine's the one that, especially in the club culture, it's the one that changes people's behaviors.
So
and
acceptable.
It's the one, and I don't like it that way. It's very socially acceptable. I don't care about it, but you can just tell that there's a very fine line between people who use it recreational, and then all of a sudden, as Chris LaBelle would say, it's 5 a.m. in a basement in Falconridge, and you're passing a plate around to the stranger in front of you, and the only thing blocking the sunlight is a fleece gray wolf blanket. But cocaine's just the one that like changes people's behaviors.
Oh God!
It's the one where I find people hide it the most.
Yeah, it's a real claw.
Like they always hide that they're doing it, and once they start doing that, is like that's the first like flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one hides they're doing acid. No one hides that they're blazing or popping shrooms. It's like a celebration.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I guess that's where addiction comes in, because I definitely have met people that'll do LSD in silent, or whatever it may be. Here, let's move some of those in the middle. Yeah, chuck them there. Okay. anywhere. It's all good. It's a mess in here most of the time. There's usually beer cans everywhere.
We're turning this into a pub crawl up here.
I love it. No, because usually I feel like people never drink enough on Beers with Buds, and I always want to.
Pussies. You come on this podcast, you drink.
Yeah, we had another good Asian guy on, Chris Kong.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris Kong sounds Vietnamese.
He's Kong Hai Lam. He is Vietnamese.
He's probably a Chinese that went to Vietnam and that whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Great guy. You guys should meet.
Hell yeah.
You'll really like him and his hustle. He's a tattoo artist. He's my tattoo artist apprentice.
Really?
Don't remember what I was gonna say at all. Oh yeah, he's like I feel he came on, he's like, I feel like you guys aren't drinking and you aren't smoking enough. He's like, I wanna be dabbing every few minutes and I wanna keep hearing the beers cracking, and I'm
damn,
like,
son.
yeah, he's
Shout out Chris Kong.
Chris Kong is intense.
Speaking, was that drink you mixed me in the beginning? That was just the most perfect buzz ever.
Oh, I'm glad.
That was beautiful. I was nice and warm. I was just like in it instantly. I loved it, man.
10 milligrams of THC.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I did a strawberry old fashioned. So I was just it was 4 dashes of orange bitters. It was 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and then it was 1 ounce of strawberry simple syrup.
That's what they had the infusion in it?
That's what I had infused.
Yeah.
Oh, I infused the bitters too. My bad. The
It was
orange
perfect,
bitters,
man.
And then just 2 ounces of rye, stirred on ice.
It was super smooth. It was one of the smoothest old fashions I've ever had.
I'm glad.
And like there's there's always that signature dish that you always gauge a restaurant on. Like you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, your pho has got to be on point.
Yeah.
If I go to an Italian restaurant, okay, show me I always test them on their lasagna. Okay, and for a bar or a mixologist, I always test them on their old fashioned.
Oh damn! So good thing.
And my friend, you nailed it.
And you said bartender's choice. I'm standing there. I was like, I love Negronis. That's why I asked you. I was like, oh, do you like Negronis? Because that's my favorite drink, especially a white Negroni. Is my absolute favorite drink. Yeah.
What's a white Negroni?
I'll make one for you after. It's basically the same, but with white vermouth and white bitter Bianco, which is just a white aperitivo, a little bit more citrus, a little bit sweeter. But then I was like, you know what? I'm feeling some rye, and so I'm really happy that I made an old fashioned, because that was definitely not I just did a video called my new old fashioned, which was not at all like this, but I feel like the strawberry one was
awesome.
It was a hit. I'm glad you like it.
I also like because it wasn't too sweet. It was super smooth, easy drinking, and the THC just made it all nice and warm, and it was perfect.
I'm trying to put together a culmination of signature drinks.
Please do. I
was inspired by this dude Warren Bobro, who wrote this book, Cannabis Mixologists and Cannabis Elixirs and Cocktails, something. Anyways, good dude. But I really want to write my cannabis cocktail book. Like, I'm doing tons of different recipes. I know that, like, how many hundreds of cocktail books are there? How many food recipe books are there? But he has the literal only cannabis cocktail.
Okay, I know what we can do here.
You know, a publisher or what?
No, not a publisher. I know how we can combine our forces.
Okay.
And build the Megazord.
The CBD Megazord.
The CBD Megazord is it's, I think, the secret's in the cocktails.
It is. Yeah,
that's what I want to champion. The food is what?
I want to champion cannabis cocktails and zero proof cocktails.
What do you mean?
I want to be the guy that like pushes it everywhere.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you said you won the championship I was like, I'm not surprised, but please tell me.
No, we'll create the championship. We'll be the judges instead.
We should do more events just around the booze itself and the mocktails and cocktails, because that's something it's not as heavy with the food and the outside talent, which really eats up a lot of the costs.
Yeah.
And where we can bring in a lot of audience for a lower price tag, or a substantial price tag, but really we can work something out there.
Yeah, for $60 to $75 a cocktail classes.
Yes.
I tried to do one cocktail party actually for proof of concept, because I don't know if we've only known each other for 4 days, but I kind of try and do everything. I get an idea and I'll just try and do it.
Absolutely.
And so I want to do the cannabis cocktail party.
Yeah.
And of all the parties I've tried to do, that was the biggest flop.
Flop?
Yeah, I was amazed. I had created 5 cocktails that were cannabis cocktails. I did a video of it that was really cool, and the people that showed up were awesome, and I really appreciate it. But I had like a bunch of confirmed reservations, and then it came to the night and nobody came, and I was pretty heartbroken, because I had put a lot of effort into creating and prepping absolutely all the cocktails, and it's so hard in our market. Like, I think it's so funny that you
With the
moved from
restrictions.
Toronto to Calgary to create a CBD company, because probably what you're doing right now in Toronto would be making you 10x what it's doing here, because Calgary is like just not, what in my experience so far, is just not accepting of the cannabis culture to the extent that I thought it would be. When I talk about doing things in Toronto or Vancouver, it's like 50 to 100 people.
Absolutely.
And I talk about things here and it's like, I'm lucky. I'm going to try and get 16.
Well, you know what? Two things to that. A, obviously, we all know. Like,
Let me interrupt though. The lotion is fucking awesome.
Is it good? You feeling
honestly, it felt good like 3 minutes after.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I said it. But
I'm glad you said that, because I always tell everyone within 3 minutes you'll have full range of motion and the pain will be gone.
Yeah, it's way better.
Confirmed from my friend here, Andy.
Yeah, way better. I will use this.
Traditionally, and that's why like you don't really need and to go from our very first point in minute 3. The topical spot treat, it'll do amazing. Tincture is for the heavy lifting.
Oh yeah, let's hit some CBD.
Yeah, shake it up. It's probably the first tincture with omega-3s.
Shake it up. Why do you suggest shaking it?
Just keeps it, just to ensure that the...
Is it just CBD isolate in here?
CBD isolate.
I brought some CBD isolate that I pertained a long time ago for you to look at, and you can tell me if you can see the quality or anything. I wouldn't say the company that it's associated with.
Sure, just do a gummy like the old school days.
Well, you could probably tell by the color, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the ideas when I first saw it, was that there was kind of some inconsistencies in the color.
Totally. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what I do or don't know about these guys. I'm not that well versed.
Yeah.
I will say the tincture you're taking is fortified with limonene,
Oh, it tastes good.
alpha pinene. It's a lemon flavor. There's omega-3s, so natural fish oils in there as well. We did that specifically because of the great effects of omega-3s in the body and how those fatty acids carry cannabinoids.
Does omega-3 taste like anything?
Tastes like fish.
Yeah, because you know what? Like, not that it's an unpleasurable taste, but here's what it tastes like. It tastes like Jell-O after dim sum.
I love it.
Like, honest to God, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we swung for the fences in that one. We really wanted to go out, and actually that was
I'm gonna hit 200 mils of this.
hit it, but put it under your tongue. Keep it under your tongue. That's how you get the effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one of the. This is so bad. I'm scared of the tastes. I love to taste things, but I'm so scared of taste.
It's because you're such you're so fine tuned to taste. Like you being a mixologist and the cannabis som himself, like you're very attuned to taste, right? Not surprised.
250. Okay. I'll rave it on my tongue for a bit.
Oh, brother, that's
How wrong? I just
90 seconds is what we say for minimal for effect. Is under the tongue 90 seconds. I'll just talk right through this. And so what we did with that is we really swung for the fences. We want to break barriers. We want to be the first, and we want to be pioneers. And if you're a pioneer, get ready to have your face in the mud and arrows in your back. And that's totally fine, because we understand that to create a movement, we have to be daring. And even our logo, like a lot of people looked at our logo at first and they're like, don't do that. That breaks every design rule. All the artifacts are out of place. It just looks weird. Nobody gets it. But then when they finally understand the symbolism behind it and what's hidden in the messaging, they're like, okay, totally get it.
I don't think the taste is bad, to be honest, at all. It's just surprising.
We'll also have some new tinctures, because we're about to actually get ready for the States here. So that's where all our performance products will start coming in, and we'll have free range of tinctures.
Sure, it tastes like a health product. Like it tastes like I did something healthy for my body.
Oh yeah. You wait. You're gonna feel great.
I'm gonna feel good, hey?
You're gonna feel real great. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because I love how we're on the same vein. I also love how we're on the same journey, how we're on parallel journeys. But one of the most interesting things you said earlier was how you learned everything from the struggle, and your inspiration is the fear. Yes, we've only known each other for 4 days, but I get the vibe, my friend. I think game recognizes game, and you got yourself a green jacket, if we're
I love it.
so to say. So let me ask you this, like, what did you learn? What are the big lessons you took from the construction, from eating shit, to apply to it now? Because at where you are now, you're not at the startup phase anymore. I think you have a great proof of concept. You are really pushing boundaries. Even just the event we saw last Friday, the networking event, you brought out a lot of players.
Thanks. I was so surprised.
You,
That was awesome.
you brought out the players, and knowing that everyone came to see you, which
That's
was
cool.
very interesting, right? Even by the time you and I were talking, that one lady came in from Sweet Tree, and they just beelined it, like laser beamed, robotic dog, laser beamed, and then they barked, they shoot bees, came right at you, and I thought that was incredible. And then I learned it was the second week. So let me ask you, what are you doing?
Everything.
What are you doing? And because you're doing a damn good job.
Thanks, man. That's really nice. I feel like I'm doing such. I don't know.
Every entrepreneur thinks that, but
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, from the things I learned from my million jobs, I've been fired from like I think 12 jobs. Is that I'm no good at working for other people, and that my idea always seems to be better than somebody else's.
Damn right.
But for some reason, nobody ever wants to execute on my idea. And so now in this experience, it's cool because I just literally I come up with an idea and I try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'm going to try it like 3 or 4 more times. And if none of those are a success, just ditch it. So it's really, it's so cool to see that the cannabis industry networking thing worked. I realized, like I was saying, that it was so hard to find the customers for what I was doing. Between you and me, well, for the podcast now, I thought it was so hard to find the customer. I knew that my audience of my 2,000 Instagram followers who were engaged, 1,000 of them are in Calgary, and I thought those would be 1,000 customers that would be consistent for my business, but they weren't at all. They're not there to support the business past the free content, which is totally cool. I'm gonna give free content till the day I die.
Hell yeah.
But I thought that creating a space where cannabis industry could culminate would give me the opportunity to maybe find somebody who was a customer or had the correct customers, because like it's cannabis industry networking, right? Beyond anything else, I'd love to meet friends, but I'm really trying to expand the business. And and then you fell into my lap and you're like the best person ever, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to see where everything goes. Shout out to OT Brewing for supporting me and my crazy ideas, and we're working on a bunch of things, and they're great partners. Like, I hope, who knows, that was the second week, there's 25 people.
That's
like
crazy.
6 months from now when it gets nice out,
Hell yeah.
I can only hope that place is absolutely packed, because when I first started going there, there was nobody, and I was like, well,
It was also minus 45 that night.
Well, yeah, but even the brewery itself, like the first time I went to the brewery, there just wasn't, like, they make great beer and there was nobody there.
Right.
And one of the weird parts about the cannabis industry right now is that there's nowhere to consume cannabis, and there's nowhere to culminate over cannabis. So we're, past a coffee meeting, you want to go for beers, and beers are that social lubricant, but it's also an atmosphere where, if you're a cannabis consumer, you will feel more comfortable walking outside and indulging in your intoxicant of choice.
Totally.
And so that was another reason why I put it at the brewery. Full intention of knowing that a lot of people are just going to go there to drink water, but a lot of people feel much more comfortable consuming alcohol.
Absolutely. I think that's where our friend Steve, the social CEO, has really been a pioneer and just took the whole mission on his strapped it on his rocket pack and just blasted it right out.
He's
right
intense.
with the hot box and whatnot. Like that guy, shout out to that guy, man. Us three need to get together on a show.
I've been trying to
spit some fire.
It's funny because the night we met, I was actually supposed to go and do a podcast with Steve
In the hot box.
You got
to get in there,
and
man.
And we had scheduled it, and I was like,
That's a wild podcast, let me tell you.
It's like, Steve, buddy, I'm sorry, I started this cannabis industry networking, and the reality is from 6:30 until 9 every single Friday, I'll be at OT Brewing in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So if anybody wants to find me, that's where I'll be. But yeah, we should definitely, I've never been on his podcast, but I
That's
hope.
crazy.
Does he videotape it? Because that's
He
like
videotapes it as well.
Thank
Let me
God.
tell you, you'll walk in there, the man you are, and you'll crawl out of there cross-eyed. It is intense, man. I think we dusted off like half a bottle of Courvoisier when we were in there.
Okay.
And
Everybody's smoking cannabis too?
and just joint after joint after joint. And like I told you when we first started, like I'm not a good cannabis smoker
Right.
socially. I'm great for hey, you want to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and
That's your spot.
blast an OG Death Bubba God Kush joint blunt? I'm your guy, no problem. But if you want to do something social like this, I'm the worst.
I think my new goal now is to make them tap. I'm gonna come in that hot box and I'm gonna fuck them up.
You need to be in there. You need to be in there.
I'm coming at them, fists flying. Okay. This is one you can hold me accountable to. I'm gonna roll at least a half ounce into backwoods. We're gonna smoke at least the half ounce on the podcast, if not a 3/4 ounce. I might even aim to smoke a full ounce on the podcast.
Wow.
That's
wow.
that. And
Wow.
as far as liquor, I don't even care. They're bringing the booze.
They'll have something in there. Oh yeah.
Maybe I should. I'm gonna pre-batch Negronis. I'm gonna make a bottle of Negronis,
Ooh.
and then that's it. All I have to do is bring ice.
Just spigot them out.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the cool progressions in Alberta bars, and something you're gonna see this summer is batched cocktails are allowed now, and you're allowed to infuse alcohol after
Shut
it's bought.
up.
Yeah, so everybody's gonna start having Negroni taps, and I was the Luxardo. That was the job I left. I was the Western Canadian Luxardo ambassador, which is aperitivo, and that was the big thing I was championing. Was like, you gotta pre-batch Negronis. Everybody wants a goddamn Negroni on tap. Like, hook it up. Sorry, I'm faux pawing all over the
Fuck,
place
you don't
too.
say.
It's because my computer rings. My phone doesn't actually ring. I just
Good thing I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Well, it makes it authentic. That's what the podcast is all about.
Exactly. So you are the cannabis som, and you are crushing the cocktails. You have this amazing networking event here. Okay. All of a sudden, last Friday, I walk into this, and we meet you. You're absolutely crushing it. So what's the big picture? And how can I help you?
Man, I love that you're here. That's awesome. Nobody ever asked me questions on the podcast. I wish people would ask me more
You're just
questions.
so damn interesting.
What's next? I don't know. So there's kind of 3 pillars. What you came to was an event, and so we have it's the Avesta group of companies. Avesta is a mountain range in the Hindu Kush mountains, and it's also a word that was referenced in every holy text. Anyway,
Is it correct? Like that's where Kush came from?
it's just one of them. Yeah, where Kush came from.
Okay.
But one of the mountains that Kush would grow on in the Hindu Kush mountains. So the Avesta group of companies really is pillared in events, content and content creation, which is a media company, and then third is where we will work together is distribution. So I got into alcohol so that I could learn alcohol distribution. I became a Canadian wine scholar so I could learn Prohibition and how Prohibition ended and how alcohol law progressed at the end of Prohibition. So, like I've had full intent to incorporate a cannabis distribution agency, and that's, I guess now everybody gets to find out about it. Like there will be a Avesta distribution, and that's kind of the next corner. So all 3 of these pillars rely on each other. The media feeds the distribution, feeds the events, feeds the media, feeds the media, feeds the events, feeds the distribution. So everything kind of just relies on each other to make each other work.
Okay, let's get into what we're doing this weekend. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, can we pause? Can I run out here real quick?
Yeah, you need pee?
I have the bladder of a jelly bean.
Yeah, no worries.
But I think this is perfect because now we're gonna get into
You're ready. You remember
gauntlet.
You remember what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna pause it.
To wrapping in what we have together here. So this is the perfect example of when opportunistic entrepreneurs come together, mash together, instantly know like, hey, we can fuck shit up. And so to really take our entire audience from 4 nights ago into the room that we're in right now, my man right here is just loading up a dab. That's how you know this is the most serious podcast. is somehow you and I, as entrepreneurs, have the exact perfect setup to come together and throw a very, very magnificent event that's coming up, I believe, this Friday?
Friday,
This
I'm DJing as the cannabis sommelier.
At the cannabis sommelier. And so what's extremely interesting is that this Saturday, you have actually been able to organize a very high-level event that I think anyone of any interest, whether you're just there for networking because you're a professional, whether you just really enjoy a great dinner, or whether you truly enjoy the art of the cannabis, or maybe you just enjoy having great, nice dinners in beautifully crafted and designed Airbnbs, is this Saturday. So that's how you and I really, really, really clicked.
Yeah, we got to allude to it more. I've been looking for Donny. Basically, I've been talking. I've created so many great partners all over the world, and I've been like, "Hey, do you know a guy that owns Airbnbs? Do you know a guy that's a property manager? Do you know this guy?" And then there you were, and I'm like, "You're like, where do you throw your dinners?" I was like, "Well, mainly Airbnbs." You're like, "Yeah, well, I got some Airbnbs." Fuck yes! Thank God!
I got Airbnbs. I got tons of people looking for this type of event, and I have the CBD. Boom.
Yeah, so now we have non-psychoactive dinners that are focused in cannabis education and all about normalizing cannabis consumption. And that's kind of the big thing. I curate top-level chefs from across North America, celebrity chefs, people, when I say celebrity chefs, like people that have been on TV, or people that are cooking for celebrities, or people that work in the most upper echelons restaurants in the world, coming into private residences and cooking with cannabis for like 10 to 20 people. And it's crazy to think that these chefs want to work with me. And now we have beautiful places to do it, and not be feeling so awkward about vaporizing inside somebody else's property. Because that was one of the things, not that I felt bad, because it's not in the rules that says I can't vaporize, and cannabis is legal. So if I'm vaporizing essential oils, I've basically thought like it's just, if I brought my sage diffuser, it's basically the same thing as me doing that in your house. But I did still feel apparent guilt. I'm excited that is absolved of me now.
And I'm happy to oblige.
It's no, it'll be great. So this Saturday it'll be awesome. But thank God I found you, because it's interesting again with these top caliber chefs. The actual sale of the ticket, AGLC, if you're listening, I don't sell any tickets. Membership is completely free.
Absolutely.
But getting people to the dinner is super hard, it seems. And it's like, a chef's table in Calgary with a wine pairing, you're going to pay $120 to $180.
Absolutely. Bang on.
Dinner's $150 with Chef Pierre Lamiel from Top Chef Canada. Won his episode of Chopped on Food Network. Like, he
won his episode of Chopped.
Yeah, he's a cool TV celebrity chef.
That's crazy.
Right? Like,
that's crazy.
And so to me, it's like the fact that at this point, a few days before the dinner, I'm like still thinking about where my customers are going to come from, blows my mind. Because when I think about markets like Chicago, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Denver, none of these ideas ever come to mind. Vancouver, Toronto, like those epicenters. And what's crazy to me is those cities are only double the population. So why on a double the population city am I thinking about 4 to 6 times the size of an event?
Don't worry, my friend. We're going to fill this up.
Yeah, we'll change the game. Well, I think once edibles laws come into play, once things become a little bit clearer, because that's one of the big things is nobody knows what you are and are not allowed to do.
Right.
And I feel like that's still stigmatizing the events that I'm trying to throw, and it's not bringing the demographics that I imagine would be there.
Yeah.
Like for me, this event is for like everybody's mom. It's for like 40 to 50 I shouldn't even say that. It's for what I would hope is that people who come to my events have never consumed cannabis before.
Interesting. Interesting.
That would be the number one. That would be the most exciting event for me, because when I have the heavy cannabis
True
consumers,
education.
yeah, the heavy cannabis consumers come in. They want to consume cannabis. They want to take dabs. They know what's up. They know what they're doing.
Right.
They're just there to have a great meal and have wine and be in a setting where they're able to consume cannabis.
Right.
But I would love. One of the hardest parts is like learning my duty of care. And one of the things I'm most invested in is like understanding how to curate people's intoxication.
Absolutely.
And how to not get people overly intoxicated. So as I can entertain cannabis consumers, it becomes harder for me to understand what a new person would be like. And not to... One of the interesting things is about 25% of people at all of the dinners I've done don't consume cannabis. And that's one of the big things. Not that we infuse the food, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but cannabis infusion is completely optional. And, 1 out of 4 people don't have infused food.
See, that's very interesting, because myself, I cannot consume THC. I have a vicious allergic reaction.
Oh, shit.
Of some of the worst pain. No, not some, the worst pain ever.
Good thing I fed you THC before you came.
Well, that's honestly when we drank the cocktail, my spidey sense was going off, and I was like, oh no, could this podcast end before it starts?
Yeah, it's gonna fuck me.
And it actually ended up perfect.
Thank God.
But when I went to the previous cannabis infusion event from some other party, I didn't eat any of the food. I only did the CBDs and of course the other foods.
Because there wasn't cannabis infusion optional?
It was optional, so I just didn't eat the foods that were other people that had requested it. But for myself, I just it wasn't for me. So I like how you're really trying to understand the dosing, how to really, and especially the education side.
I want to include everybody
Truly
so
understand the
bad.
education, and that's I've never heard that perspective. I didn't know that was the goal.
Yeah,
that's
I guess
incredible.
The end game of the cannabis sommelier is to normalize cannabis consumption through the vocabulary and vernacular of wine tasting. That's like at its core pitch. That's what I do. I'm just here to make cannabis consumption as normal as a glass of Chardonnay.
Wow. And I think that's at the root of everything. I think that's where you and I really respect the game, because we have to play by the same rules, but at the same time we're playing by the same rules.
Yeah.
And we understand the dance that we have to do to play nice, but at the same time we also understand truly what is of service to the people. And the restrictions that Canada has right now is that you cannot broadcast anything whatsoever if you are selling. Thank goodness we're not selling. So the important thing is, okay, how do we serve our audience? How do we truly bring forth this education? Is it just simply as like all the retail locations, the retail cannabis, they're always going for education centers. Well, guess what? Terpenoids, flavonoids, endocannabinoid systems is extremely fucking confusing to someone coming from not.
Yeah. And check it out. I'll be teaching on YouTube. Like, I've been filming the content. You can have it all for free and sit at home.
Hell yeah. But to really take them on the journey and take them on the experience, I think you're the one person that really has the right place at the right time and has the right vehicle, the right experience to bring it forward, where it encapsulates them and they're learning through all 5 senses. And that is where it's going to be the most powerful, is where someone like you said, and couple that with a mission that you're saying, to take someone from someone's aunt and mom who's never used cannabis to, hey, this isn't just to get high and be lazy. Absolutely amazing. I commend you, my friend. It's a great mission.
I hate alcohol. This is one thing that like people don't know, and I say it all the time in interviews, but nobody ever like seems to quote it. I hate alcohol. I never wanted to be a booze guy. Literally, like, I really did not like drinking at all. I would drink to get drunk. I would admit that I had a problem with alcohol at points in my life really badly.
You and me both.
And I never saw it as like a curated upper echelon thing.
Right.
Ever. That idea never came to my mind.
With booze.
Yeah, with booze. And I like, honestly, I love cannabis. I came from a cannabis culture. My social circles were cannabis consumers, and when you drank, it was to like get fucked up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but the casualness of consuming cannabis is what brought people together, like drinking in certain scenarios, or smoking did with cigarettes. I feel like that was a big part. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore.
Well, let me preface this, because I agree with you about why
Oh yeah,
why
alcohol's
liquor's
a piece of shit.
alcohol's a piece of shit. And let me tell you this why. As we all know now, like, I owned and ran a nightclub in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we know about the fun aspects, there's also a very dangerous aspect of being so deep in the liquor industry. And it's that by the time I left, my gut was completely wrenched from alcohol, but more importantly, my short-term memory was gone.
Interesting.
Completely shot. And you can ask any of my friends at the time. In my later 20s, it was more of a joke. Like, Donnie forgets everything. Oh, yeah, he lost his key, lost his phone. But I used to lose my car.
Wow.
So I would go out on a Friday night, park my car wherever the heck we started a party, wake up next day, always in my bed. At least I'm responsible that way, if you call it responsible. Could not for the life of me find my car.
Where the fuck's my car?
And it wasn't until I watched the movie Memento. Have you watched that?
I want to say yes, but I'm going to say no.
In a quick cap, Memento is about a story about the protagonist who tattoos clues all over his body because he has no memory about the murder of his girlfriend.
Okay.
The antagonist is actually seeped his way into the protagonist's life, pretending to be his best friend to try to hide him from this murder.
Okay.
There's this one scene early in the movie where they're both riding in the car together, and the antagonist goes, or the protagonist rather goes, I can't remember. And the antagonist looks at him and goes, are you drinking lots? Because, drinking is the number one cause of short-term memory loss. I sat up in my bed right away and I pointed at the TV and I went, holy fuck. I don't have a bad memory. The drinking has fried my memory.
It's fried my brain.
So when I left Calgary to move to Toronto, one of the big things, I laid in bed at nighttime. I used to go, okay, I'm not going to drink anymore. Please let my memory back. Please let my memory back. Because I learned about neuroplasticity, how your brain can regenerate itself and can keep learning.
CBD is very good for that.
Exactly. And so when I left, that was my main goal. I retrained my memory. I retrained my brain. I got off the booze. And thank God I was young enough to recover from that. But that's for you youngsters out there who think boozing is all fun and games. It wreaks absolute havoc on the body.
Yeah, it'll mess you up.
Havoc. And the UK, I forget what they're called, but the Health Canada of the UK, they just came out with a study that they have a strong link, a definitive link between high alcohol use and cancer.
It doesn't surprise me. It's like pickling your body. I remember where I was going, by the way. It was I think alcohol is terrible. I never ended up. I wanted to be an alcohol guy. I watched a documentary called Somm where I watched these guys blind taste wine.
Yes.
I watched the first 3 minutes and I was like, holy shit. I did this in dispensary. I've been buying cannabis for years. Wholesale, buying, selling. This is what I've been doing, but I don't have this vocabulary and I don't have this accreditation. And I literally booked a wine class for 4 days later. And that's the only reason I got into wine. It's the only reason I'm a booze guy. I sat down in that class and I sat beside these great guys, Nate and Dylan. Nate's been in Amsterdam bartending. He's like a worldwide award-winning bartender.
Very cool.
Dylan's still here. And it just like something clicked. Like the wine literally tasted different when the instructor poured it for me. I remember them opening the discussion up with what other agricultural product has 1,500 different varietals that are indicative of exactly where they were grown. And I put up my hand and I said, cannabis. And everybody in the class laughed at me. And that was the moment I knew I was going to be the cannabis sommelier. I was like, this is it.
And was that the birth of the name?
No, I don't even, the birth of the name was like, shit, I don't even remember. I probably talked about it so much. I literally started taking this class. I was like, cannabis and wine are the same thing. And then I started tasting wine. I started drinking wine. And I was smoking so much cannabis. And I was like, holy shit. This is really, really, really good together. I should probably fucking record this. And then it was just this like aha moment where I was like, okay, I have to be the cannabis sommelier. And I asked Sarah, there was so many moments where I was like, what should the name be? Like, should it be cannabis sommelier or should it be the cannabis sommelier?
Yeah.
We went over this so much. Should it be the cannabis somm?
Yes.
Should I have cannabis in my name? Because there is a like my counterpart is a female in the United States, and her name is Jamie Evans, the Herb Psalm. And the Herb Psalm gives her great advantage because she doesn't have cannabis in her name. If my name was the Herb Psalm, I would have figured out so many more marketing avenues, but I'm blocked by advertising laws because my name literally has cannabis in it.
Yeah.
But it also defined me.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm good at, and I want everybody to remember. Like, I don't even know who listens to this, but I know quite a few people are actually listening. I'm a cannabis guy first. I love cannabis. I know cannabis. I've been collecting cannabis data for, I started smoking cannabis when I was 12 years old. It's been 13 years of my life where I consistently actually thought about absolutely every different little thing that I was consuming and tried to create that into data that would now give me the career that I wanted. I've been getting Instagram messages. This guy was telling me that like what I'm writing tasting notes for a whole bunch of people, like wine, and I have people now in my DMs being like, "No, you're full of shit. Like, why are you saying this? It's not that easy. Like, how can you just make this up?" And I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking making it up. Like, I literally only paid thousands of dollars to go to university so I could have a piece of paper that proves that I proved my palate. It wasn't for wine, it was for everything.
So do you have the sommelier?
I'm not a sommelier.
Because I know that is one of the most
well, here's the sommelier.
Craziest distinctions you could possibly get.
What I wanted to be was a master of wine. I wanted to be Canada's youngest master of wine. And so there's two different...
And that of itself is a major undertaking.
Yeah, it's... So there's master of wine is one avenue, and master of sommelier is the other avenue. Master of wine is a written examination where you're never speaking and you never see the service floor, but it's a much more technical, scientific undertaking. The only way you can become an MW, a Master of Wine candidate, is by going through the WSET Wine and Spirit Education Trust program, and that's the program that I started in, and that I got to an international accreditation in WSET 3.
You're the man.
Not really. It's a joke. Lots of people know just as much as me that have never set foot in a classroom. Anyway, way more than me because they've tasted way more wines. All I know is from books. The people that I get to taste wine with have taught me so much more than textbooks or anything because they teach self-awareness, and that's the most important part about understanding wine in your palate. But no, I'm not a sommelier because a sommelier by definition curates a wine program. A sommelier by definition is a wine steward. But what it's understood now is as somebody who works in a restaurant, who's curating the wine program, who works the service floor and is presenting the wine. I was a wine consultant for the last 3 years. And a sommelier should be a master of wine, spirit, cigar, sake, but wine is the most important. And service.
Really?
Yeah, it's everything to entail fine dining in a restaurant. And so this is why I'm the cannabis sommelier.
Yeah.
Because service is extremely important to me. And so I had the opportunity for the last 3 years to curate wine programs for restaurants. I got to be a wine consultant and help with that. I was in restaurants 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, talking to the people running these programs and advising them on what my opinion was. I come from a bar background. I worked in bars. I've been a server, and I saw a disconnect of where I wanted to find much better service than what other people were presenting, and is what I think made me good at my job. As everything culminated, and I started being able to present my own parties, it's like how I guess I am a sommelier in the idea that I curate my wine list for my pop-up events. I'm the master of service, and that's all on me. So, yeah, I guess now I've kind of corrected it. I don't have an ISG. I don't have an International Sommelier Guild status or a certified master sommelier status, even though I've thought about getting it. Past employers have said they'd pay for it, but it's a very expensive undertaking. One part about wine is that it's extremely expensive to become accredited. you don't know what a bottle of Cristal tastes like until you taste it. What does 86 Ruin Heart taste like unless you've tasted it? And I've been very, very fortunate to drink some of the most amazing fucking wines in the world, but that's only because of the network that came with wine. But the network that came with wine was incredible. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
So safe to say that this next infusion event coming up, we have this top chef from Chopped. We have you yourself, who's clearly demonstrated that you are at least have the chops and can fight, be in the ring with the other masters of wine.
Oh yeah, that's where we're going. The sommelier thing. I might not be a sommelier by definition, but I hang my hat with all my sommelier homies, and they fucking give me props, and I have all the street cred that I need.
I'm the wine som street cred. It's a vicious one out there.
That's the bougiest fucking street cred you've ever been a part of. Let me tell you, that is the
it's the only one where you get blasted in a Bart.
Man, pretentious world wine is. Let me tell you.
So this is why, because when you first told me about the event, I didn't know what to expect. I just know that, hey, listen, I like your vibe. Let's rock and roll. And then I find that, listen, there's going to be this chef there. Some of the country's best. He won Chopped. He's on Top Chef. And now I finally unfold another piece of the onion where I understand that, man, the wines that are being paired are not just, because I'm coming from a complete nobody in wine. I don't understand anything about wine.
Yeah.
But to truly understand how well these are being paired, the experience that you're trying to evoke, this is gonna be one hell of an event.
I fucking care way too much.
And now bootleg me in through the back door, and we're gonna find some really cool guests, and we're gonna have some really cool locations in there.
I love it. Yeah, I'm stoked. Terpenes and flavonoids in wine and cannabis are the same thing. When you think about it on a macro level, the glandular head of cannabis, the trichome is exactly the same as a grape. When you press it into rosin, it is literally exactly the same as creating wine.
The only reason why I can picture this is because Eric Nugshots always puts out the craziest pictures of trichomes.
Yeah, exactly. So think about knocking all those trichomes off. It's just like taking a bundle of grapes. And when you can understand that on that macro level and then broaden it to why this wine pairs so well with this cannabis, because it's just like blending Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. There's a reason why Bordeaux wines are some of the greatest wines in the world and why they only grow 3 grapes, Cab Sauv, Merlot, and Pinot Meunier, because that little bit of Pinot Meunier is that special moment.
Really?
Yeah, right? Like Cab Sauv, Merlot, you're like, yeah. And then there's that 1% of something else, and that's what makes it so special. And that's apparent around the world when we look at bottling laws. Like California, for example, is so crazy that you only have to have 85% of the stated wine that's on the label in the bottle of wine. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so you can have a Pinot Noir, California, Pinot Noir, any sub-region, but it can have 15% Gamay in it.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's not the same everywhere around the world. I don't even know why I went on this tangent again.
I can't wait to meet my buddy Milan. You two, like, when you flavor nerds get together, it's gonna be something special.
Oh, I love it. I just love flavors. People are like, why do you know what this tastes like? It's because I put it in my mouth.
Oh yeah, you guys know. Okay, so in the beginning of this day, you and I brought up a couple of bags of streams up here. Okay.
Oh yeah, let's smoke some weed.
Yeah, so packs me, warm me up, put me on the lowest level. But which one?
We need a grinder too.
We have a Violator Kush, Double Black.
These are from Chris Kong.
New York Diesel. It's obviously a sativa. Blackberry Kush.
I love how you say it like obvious. I don't know if it's obvious. I bet it's probably not even New York Diesel or anything close to it.
Just some wild hybrid. Oh, generations in.
This grinder I don't want to use. There's the grinder I want to use. I save these plastic grinders so I can take them on planes with me and then just leave them where people in the United States don't.
Leave them where they land.
People in the United States don't grind their weed.
What do you mean? They bust it by hand?
Yeah.
Or they do the old shot glass with scissors trick?
Dude, they're savages. No, they just finger pick it.
Oh, America.
Hippie pick it. Well, it's good for blunts. I don't know. It's just like when you grind it too fine, it is true. I learned my lesson in California. When you grind it really fine, like I like to here, you choose one. The weed is too thick. It gets too tight. So you kind of need to pick it out.
I choose double black.
Double black. You need to pick it out so you can get those air pockets. To create that space so you can actually smoke, because it's so humid and so moist. Yeah,
My mind is blown.
There's a method to the madness.
That's crazy. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it was the guy that actually alluded me to everything was Hitman Glass Douglas Dracup. Do you follow that guy? Do you know Hitman Glass?
No.
Huge company. He was the guy to open the first coffee shop in Los Angeles.
Really?
They did a ripoff of the Starbucks cup and turned it into a heady glass rig. And the way that he didn't get sued was by literally creating his own coffee shop and being like, nah, this is
Awesome.
it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the coffee was like, I never tried it. From what I heard, it wasn't very good. It was
Yeah.
literally just like a coffee cart in the back corner of this amazing place. Sarah, who just got home, was actually came there with me, and it closed super recently because of like zoning and all this crazy shit. Because I don't know if it was technically legal.
Just basically how every nightclub opens in Calgary,
right,
with their limited menu.
But it was Hitman Dougie who alluded me to this whole idea. We're sitting there rolling blunts, which is really fucking cool. One of the coolest things of this last year was that I got to meet so many of these like people that I really looked up to for years. So I'm sitting there with Dougie, and we're rolling blunts, and I'm grinding my weed up, and we're in the coffee shop, and he finger picks his super quick, and he rolls his blunt, and he's like, yeah, he's like, this one's gonna smoke, it's gonna have good airflow, like, you know, he's like, I'm gonna probably smoke this by the time you finish. And I was like, what? And
Just finish rolling.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's not like I take a long time, but I roll I roll perfect blunts every time.
Yeah, but who finishes a blunt before someone's finished rolling?
He didn't finish the blunt, but he was sure like heavy chiefing on it.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I realized, I was like, oh, okay, the airflow is so you can blast the cannabis.
Interesting.
And my goddamn blunt, because I wanted to show off, of course, I rolled an eighth of strawberry banana from the one that costs a fortune. Oh no, I had the strawberry kiwi from god damn it. Anyways, it's one of the hype brands. Everybody will know. It's in the nitrogen tin packs. No, not everybody will know. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Is it a top leaf product? Is it Canadian?
No, this is a California product.
California.
This is one of like the hype ass California products, like
Damn.
the super expensive, super cool, exotic,
Sure.
genetic ones. So I rolled a whole eighth.
The Hermes of weed.
Yeah, exactly. I messaged Sherbinsky today, actually, because they keep calling him the Hermes of weed.
Really?
Yeah, again, I have no fucking idea.
Did I pick the right one there? Can you tell me what I'm expecting from the double black? Can you
Dude,
leafly me right now?
It looks fuck it. Yeah, I can. The cannabis itself has
This man
great.
just smelt the weed and he's just breaking it down.
It has great bag appeal, but the cannabis is like commercial cannabis.
Okay.
I don't want to start giving you prices. It's one of the things I always do behind the mic. Start giving pound prices. This is like the most classic AAA weed. As far as the name Double Black goes, totally made up. Mm-hmm. I've had this exact same cannabis so many times.
And you can smell and you just know.
Oh yeah, it's like it's the biker cut. This is the Canadian biker cut that would have been sold as Sugar Bear, Juicy Fruit. This came from like an illegal dispensary, right?
You are incredible.
This is like this.
You are incredible.
Yeah, this smells like my whole high school career.
Holy.
Yeah, that's just straight biker weed.
I'm actually watching a live cannabis sommelier experience right now.
It's interesting because it's though just the way it looks, it would demand a higher price, but I bet if we smoked it in a joint, it wouldn't look very good. Thank God we have the packs.
Yeah. We need part of the White Ash Club.
Yeah, that's a far and few between club these days.
Well, actually, I got a good buddy out there in BC there, and all he does is bring back white ash.
What's
White
interesting?
ash all day.
Because I know some of these.
Good.
I've been sent organic weed.
Really?
That's not burning white.
And it's bomb fire.
But here's the thing about organic. Organic is only what was in the soil.
Wait a second.
Right? Does that make sense?
But doesn't everything that goes in the plant go in the soil?
To some extent, but the like added nutrients
Yeah.
would be like chemically altering. But if you take a soil composition to start, it's already chemically altered soil. Like you're choosing the best chemical balanced soil for what you're trying to create.
Gotcha.
So it's technically not organic at all to start with. Yeah, like what is organic anymore? Because even if we plant in the ground, the water table is affected by everybody else. So no matter what or where you're at, you can't have a true organic certification. The only way to do completely organic would be to take compost. But again, you have to adjust levels so that your compost isn't too hot in nitrogen, or else it's just going to fry every plant you have. So what is organic cannabis?
You're blowing my mind, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna make a trip here. You roll.
Yeah,
you roll.
I'm just gonna fill the packs. If you guys haven't seen the review on the PAX vape, it's a pretty good unit. I'm gonna try it again because I had some doubts with it. To be super honest with you, if it's not all the way packed, I was told if it's not all the way packed and it's not super finely milled, that it doesn't work too well. I did find that in my experience. This guy's gave me a free grinder, so I might as well shout it out. It's the Canna Crush grinder. I definitely don't think they did anything but put their name on it from some Chinese stuff, but it works well, and it's metal, and it was free. So thank you, Canna Crush. I appreciate you. Okay, here we go into the PAX 3 vaporizer. I really finely milled the cannabis. Is it sticky? Yes. Will I tightly pack it? Yes. Will it work? We shall see. This is the thing. Last time it didn't work so well. I might have overpacked it too. I don't know.
So I've never used the packs. I know a lot of people come to our vape shops and they always ask about it.
Your vape shops?
Actually, with not my vape shops, but with the team I was previously working with, who I just left in January. A lot of people come in for the packs.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty slick unit. I don't like the filling chamber because it looks really messy. Like you have to get it into that heating oven.
It's a huge. How deep is this?
I don't know. It's not that deep, to be honest. Maybe half a fingernail.
Also super shallow.
Yeah.
So that's done like instantly.
Yeah, that would be my big complaint. But between, I had the Mighty, the Craft Stores and Bickles Mighty downstairs.
That's that big one that you showed me. Looks like a flux capacitor with a case on it.
I like that one more. That one has about the same size heating unit. So all you do is you press that button right there, and now it's heating up. I'm gonna actually turn the app on so you can see how the app works.
This
too.
is very cool. I'm gonna get this.
The app is definitely the coolest part of it. Yeah, see, it went blue. It's already connected with the device, which is super cool. Now it's boost heating, and you like a big hit, right? I think, or no, you like flavor. That's
a flavor on low temperature.
Look at this. I can select a flavor setting, and then it's just gonna. It's like
oh my God,
vibrating with the device, and it's setting it to the optimal flavor setting.
This thing's like half sex toy, half sous vide machine.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can change the color too. So that's pretty cool. No, for whatever it's worth. It has games, which is nice.
Flappy Bird?
Pardon me?
Flappy Bird?
No, it has it has like ones where you just spin it and basically like it's like spin the bottle for smoking weed, or Simon Says. Here's a little joke here.
So I know, like after I hit this, it's gonna go one of two ways. Either I'm gonna go just completely silent, or it's just we're gonna ramp this right up. So what do you think? Like you and I, we're both cannabis entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. What do you think about people who are like trying to get in? Because there's going to be a million niches. Both you and I could probably agree on that.
Oh yeah.
Different entry points. What do you think? Like, how do you think we could tell our future entrepreneurs? What advice do you think we could give them based on your
Nice.
experience. I'll go right after you.
I wrote an article about this actually. Just the opportunity that there's so many outlying opportunities in cannabis. I think it was Mark Twain who said in the gold rush, selling picks and shovels is what makes your money.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do. I curate education. I curate events. Past that, like, I'm just trying to create a personal brand and a reputation for myself so that I can be the guy for cannabis. I don't
with you on that.
I don't really care about the revenue streams. They're just a necessary reality right now.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first question? What kind of advice can I give them? Oh yeah. Just find the fact that everybody thinks they need to sell cannabis or grow cannabis, or that seems to be the short-sightedness of cannabis entrepreneurs.
Agreed.
Is that I either have to be the guy buying or selling. And the reality is there's so much opportunity in cannabis for so many things. Like, I could just ramble off hundreds of ideas right now.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to grasp that and utilize the explosion that's happening, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur. And not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur. I think that's my best advice, is like, it fucking sucks. It's hard. You beat yourself up. Like,
It's lonely.
It's lonely. It's no fun, but it's fucking so rewarding.
So crazy. So fun.
But not everybody's built to be that guy. And the reality is if you feel comfortable and you have a great fucking job and you're a smart guy and you have good skills, and being an entrepreneur is cool right now, but you're fucking crushing it, and whenever you do, like, I say keep crushing it.
Crushing it.
That's
Agreed, man. Keep crushing it.
See your opportunity and take it. But if you're really fucking good at what you do and you feel super comfortable and happy in what you do, don't fuck that up trying to chase something that's trendy and cool. Because I feel like entrepreneurship is way too trendy and cool right now.
Absolutely. Like, how many people have you seen just try and jump on the cannabis train?
Everybody.
Right? And they could, and entrepreneurs are most susceptible to. And by the way, this packs is fucking smooth.
So it works good when it's packed full. Like, I really rammed it there,
Really?
and this is the best it's working. But it's quite hot in your hand.
It gets hot.
That's the one thing. The stores, the Craft Mighty, I don't even know what it's called. It does not get hot like that. That is,
Does it vibrate to tell me that that's a proper hit?
I think it's vibrating because what it does is it actually moves the temperature on when you're drawing on it versus when it's sitting in idle. It has a lot of technology going on in it.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I wish I knew why it was vibrating right now.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, don't just jump into the cannabis. Don't lose your focus off the first flow to go chase what you think is a gold rush. That is not what an entrepreneur is. You're just trying to get rich quick.
Yeah, my homie's making rosin. Like, they've been doing rosin for a long time.
Yeah.
And now it's turning into a business years later because they've collected their data.
Hell yeah, exactly. Don't get rich quick. Get rich for sure. Do what you know. Do what you love. And as cheesy as people say, like, do what you love. No. That's what gets you through these dark times that Andy and I both have experienced several times over.
Well, I can't even say that I've experienced it that much because, like, I'm pretty new to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just feeling the burn for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, like, the reality of it is like, I'm kind of at this month 3 moment.
Oh yeah. When the excitement isn't fueling the rocket anymore.
Shit's going crazy
Yep.
in the future, and I'm super excited about all my opportunities. But at the current state, I'm like, fuck, how do I pay my mortgage? And I think
Classic.
that's
Classic entrepreneur.
right? Like,
Absolutely.
I've read books, I see YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not just a me feeling.
Nope. Nope.
But again, that fear is what's driving me and what's not gonna let me go back to working for somebody else. Because I'm not, like, I might be worried about that idea next month. Fuck, do I pay my mortgage? But I just had this conversation with Sarah. It's like, I'm not thinking about getting a job until March 28th.
Absolutely.
Like, unless my life is fucked, there is no way that I'm giving No way I'm giving up. No, the fucking computer lagged. This is the first time it's done this. It used to do this every few
The computer
minutes.
can't hang. The computer can't hang with the game that's being spit right now.
Yeah, it can't handle the fucking truth. If you can't handle the truth, get out the booth. That's what it did. It hopped right out.
My friend, I would like to share this because we're exactly where you are. Like I said, 2 years ago when I came back, broke. All I knew is that I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to make my own path. I'm going to create my own destiny. I will never put my destiny in someone else's hands to control. And so the first thing I did was I went to 10X Growth Con. It's Grant Cardone's huge, absolutely huge conference he throws. It's mostly for entrepreneurs and salespeople.
You like this guy a lot. You've talked about him a few times.
He's incredible. Because I'm by trade, I'm a salesperson.
I'm going to check him out.
Yeah, and his sales is extremely powerful. And so when he threw this conference, he's the first person to ever do a conference for 9,000 entrepreneurs. He beat that this year by throwing a baseball stadium and filling with 35,000, the biggest of his kind.
Damn.
But he has some of the most prolific speakers. And so last year he had, huge speakers that all had their own companies and whatnot. And what I actually got from it was the similarity between everyone's story was that all these big, powerful entrepreneurs all started from nothing, from absolutely nothing. All of them.
It's good to know.
All of them did it. All of them did it because they did not want to work for somebody else. They believed in their own abilities. And not only that, they all went broke several times over to figure it out.
Okay, and that's the motto.
And that's the norm that I see from ultra successful entrepreneurs. And when I look at it, I'm like, you know what? We'll figure it out. The characteristics, how we're, or maybe what Gary Vee calls it. He says that we are genetically, he says in my DNA. Entrepreneurship is in your DNA.
I believe that, honestly. My dad's the biggest failed entrepreneur. I don't want to say he's failed. He's gone up real high, and he's gone down real low. So he's lived a true hardcore entrepreneurial. I just don't think he knew when to pivot in the right moment.
Same with my pops, man. Same with my pops.
And that's okay. He had a fucking awesome idea, and if there had been one or two more pivots, it would have been revolutionary.
And fair to say as well that maybe they don't have opportunity to pivot like we do because of the things like how fast how fast technology can support our businesses, right? Yeah. How fast we can market and distribute. I
think that grasp on that would have actually made my father's business wildly successful.
What's this?
He has the patent for electronic healthcare records.
Whoa.
Yeah, so a healthcare record that's carried on a chip. It's incredible technology that has so many utilizations. Without going super deep into the sales pitch, it's incredible. You never have to have your doctor's note from the hospital goes straight to your family doctor, goes straight to the pharmacy. Nobody ever writes a prescription anymore. Everybody has complete control of their healthcare record. This is kind of the most important thing for me, past the insurance fraud and all the other things that it solves, is that I have control of my healthcare record. I can plug my chip in and I can see every single note every single doctor has ever wrote about me, and every piece of data from my life in the medical system is there. If he could have shown these things, he still could. If he could show these things and create a social media buzz around it, like he's worried about funding in, like finding private funding. If I was him, I would have made a GoFundMe. And it's so interesting. Like,
hell yeah.
He'll never listen to this podcast, right? Which is so interesting, because if he'd asked me for this advice, I would have given it to him
totally
tenfold. Might not have listened to me, but I would have created great media. I would have explained my idea. I would have shown the benefits in real life scenarios, and I would have made a GoFundMe, and I would have made a hard social media campaign, and I would have made people want the product more than making me trying to sell the product to people.
Totally.
Because people need it. It's just the pivot for the internet age. It's a piece of technology that relies heavily on the internet that wasn't marketed correctly through the internet, because even though, and it's interesting too, because people did the same thing, his technology's just better and he holds the patents. Doing that, you could have created a social revolution had he used the phone in his pocket, but he didn't see it as a tool for that. He saw it as a tool for communication to try and find the next investor.
Right.
And that's that's a crazy idea. And the crazy world that we live in now is like your investor would have been on Instagram.
Exactly.
I guarantee it.
Exactly.
Anything he would have needed would have been there had he started showing people. And you know what would have been even more interesting? Had he shown his failures and his successes.
Yep.
Probably would have made more money doing that than the idea in the end.
Totally.
But yeah, super crazy. And so yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons I'm scared of being an entrepreneur. I wrote a op essay about me, and that's what I started with. I was like, the thought of being an entrepreneur was way scarier than the first time I ever smoked cannabis.
Whoa, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's in my genes. It's like,
Yes.
I want to do it. I want to do it mainly because I fucking hate everybody else. And that's, like that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like I like hanging out with people, but like Sarah's this fucking amazing anomaly where I actually want to spend my life with her. Everybody else, I'm like 2 hours. I'm like, get the
fuck out of here.
Please.
Stop talking.
Yeah,
Stop talking.
It's amazing when I find people that I actually want to spend that much time with as we go on 2.5 hours of chatting. But it's like, yeah, it's anyways, the internet's the biggest tool you can ever use, and entrepreneurship is definitely in DNA, and a lot of people are definitely not built to be entrepreneurs, as with especially anxiety and like today's interpretation of anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an anxiety problem. I think there's an understanding of pressure problem. Like, life fucking sucks. Life's hard.
Incredible concept, my friend.
Yeah, shit sucks. Like, of your like emotions, happy is the only one that's actually like a positive emotion. Everything else is negative in a sense. So to think that people should feel happy all the time is ridiculous, and probably what fuels the anxiety crisis. Like, you don't have anxiety, life just fucking sucks the same way it has for thousands of years.
Interesting, dude. I really agree with you when you say that pressure, that people don't understand how to handle pressure. And I really, and I'd like to fortify that by saying like how much, especially social media, because that's where the attention is, especially in our age range right now. And I'm on the other edge. You're 25, I'm 35.
Yeah, it's a perfect
in April, right? We hit exactly that social media range, specifically Instagram. Right? Facebook, I think, is probably older now.
That's an older demographic. Right? That's a 40 to 65.
Snapchat's really young.
Yeah,
I would say maybe it's different in America, but I know in Canada, like especially in my sphere, like no one uses it. But in that 25 to 35. Instagram really paints a very rosy picture. A very, and they have the studies about this, about how they mentioned this in a pot debate with Joe Rogan, how social media studies have shown by the numbers that girls' suicide rates have increased by 50% due to social media. And it's because of this rosy highlight reel that it always paints, that like, hey, you should always be okay. Right. The second you put something negative, like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird. I was all talking. This guy's going through some shit.
I always tell people Instagram's for flexing or complaining.
Yeah.
You said earlier, like, oh, I don't want to show everything on Instagram because I feel like I'm always flexing. But like, yeah, I feel like the days where I get the most people connecting with me, because I make a lot of stories, and I feel like
you got some pretty awesome stories, man.
I try to be authentic in them, and people seem to connect with it because I am a real person. And it's just like, yeah, like, but I honestly feel like I could share more of my doubt and more of my struggle with people, but I worry that people don't want to see it, right? Like, if Gary Vaynerchuk showed every time he fucking failed, he talks about it a lot.
Yeah.
But if he like was straight up like showing it, would people like it as much? Like, if they saw he was failing 50 times a day, would they be like, oh yeah, Gary's the guru? Or if they, like, I don't know the stats on VaynerMedia, but I know a lot of very successful companies run at negative deficit. Like, their burn rate is bigger than their income rate, right?
Really?
Pepsi is a great example of this. It's a huge valued company that doesn't make as much money as it spends every year.
Crazy.
There's Under Armour is another one of these. I wonder if Gary Vaynerchuk's businesses are examples of this, because I'm sure you can get a lot of funding. I'm sure you can get a lot of angel funding. But how much does he actually fail?
That's interesting.
Yeah, he says he bets on himself all the time.
My guess, lots. Knowing what we know, probably lots.
My guess is probably multiple times a day he takes some pretty shitty phone calls.
Does he?
I would hope so, or else I don't really like him very much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, his whole thing about authenticity and his whole thing, I feel like a lot of people don't like him because of his facade. I like him because like his facade hasn't been broken for me yet. I still believe he's completely authentic, but that moment he shows me like, nah, he's not taking the calls. He's not doing it because he actually loves it. He's not failing. I'm not really into it. I don't know. And I wish he would show me more of his failures, because he talks about it so much. Oh, if that's loose, there's a knobby on the back. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, got this.
Is it good? Is it safe?
Yeah. Who else are you watching or listening to right now?
Who else do I listen to?
Yeah,
Nobody.
which mentor are you using? Just Gary Vee?
And I don't even listen to him that much anymore. At first...
You're just a busy guy, man.
Yeah.
You got shit going on.
Well, I liked his book. I got his book for everybody for Christmas, Crushing It. And I was listening to him every morning for a while, and I've been listening to him for a long time. But what kind of got annoying to me was especially after I started the podcast, was like, yeah, I fucking get it. You don't have to like keep telling me. Like, I totally understand. I quit my job to make content. I'm diversified. I'm trying to create these revenue streams. And so I've stopped listening in the last recent, because it's like, I right now he does nothing to offer me.
See, I understand that. And that's why Gary Vee is not one of my pillars, because he doesn't teach too much like actionable tactics.
No, he just tells you like,
it's just
you can
always
do it.
His overarching, theme. So he's kind of great for motivation. He's kind of great for the just do it. But
and that's why he made a hit on the motivational just do it shit, and not Wine Library TV, which actually is his business.
Yeah, right. And I find he's very heavy on the hustle, like sacrifice absolutely everything, keep going, keep grinding, this and the other. But at the same time, that's why I really enjoy the other ones, the Grant Cardones, the Ramit Sethi's, the Russell Brunsons, because they give you systems. And even though they are selling you something, but they give you 98% of their content for free. If you just use that content, you're going to do great. The 2%, they give you some very beautifully artisanal products, actionable, that really 10x whatever you're trying to improve. And that's why I can follow them farther than the Gary Vee, because like you said, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
same thing over and over again.
He says the same fucking thing over
like a
and over
motivational
again
coach.
in shitty quality. That's the funniest thing about it, is that his fucking stuff is the lowest, worst quality.
Is it?
The podcast is fucking terrible. It is.
You can hear him chewing.
Dude, it's so.
He's chewing in the mic.
It's so low quality.
No,
even
I
the
can't
fact
listen to
that he has these beautiful microphones, and these amazing guests, and it's still so quiet when I listen to it in podcasts. I'm like, VaynerMedia, how have you fucked up not paying an audio engineer who understands that people are listening to this on their fucking iPhone? Like, dude, I can't hear you. How have you fucked this basic concept up? And it blows my mind that he puts out so much content in that realm of like shaky fucking make you sick video, some guy following him around who he still hasn't bought a goddamn gimbal for, still doesn't wear a fucking wireless mic, and people are watching it by the tens of thousands.
Hey, what wireless mic should I get? Remember, I'm filming pure iPhone all the time.
There Shure makes a good one. Rode makes a good one. Like, honestly, there's tons of great stage video mics.
Okay. I just needed to sound good on like iPhone.
Well, it depends how deep you want to go on your editing. Do you want to record your audio on an outside recorder, or do you want it to be built into your phone? Because I don't know. Obviously, like your headphones.
Yeah.
The ear pods are literally the best thing you can use. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, they have noise canceling. They sound great. They're built to work with your phone.
I find they pick up a lot of like what do you call this?
Outside noise.
Outside noise?
Yeah, just try and reset them. Because one of the big things they're supposed to do is cancel outside noise, and that's one of the things your phone's supposed to do with it is only pick up your voice.
Okay.
But yeah, if I wasn't trying to create anything that was like going on TV, professional quality in that sense, I would be using my earpods. I wouldn't worry about a lavalier. I have a $50 shotgun mic, right? Like that's what I use. I used to use these microphones. These little cardioid ones, or lavalier cardioid mics, and it's literally just plugs into the bottom of my phone. And then you put that.
Yeah, perfect.
Right?
And these pick up awesome.
$18.
$18.
Yeah. They worked pretty good until I think they broke. I don't know. I started getting a lower audio quality from them. I still use them in certain circumstances, even though I feel like they have a buzz. I may have just cranked the wire or something because it's only $18.
Yeah.
And it came with that extender cord that I have plugged into that other mic. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, like that's all you really need. Anything fancy, you could spend $1,000 on something like that really quickly, but it's just gonna be a waste of money.
Well, I do absolutely everything on iPhone, and I want to keep it as long as possible, probably forever. So the only next thing I just see, I'm like, man, if I just get a little bit better audio.
Earpods, just do earpods with everything.
Okay, done.
Yeah,
done. I will reset my AirPods. Done.
Yeah, because you walked in wearing them, right?
Yeah, I probably.
Yeah, you have them. So that's the next thing I want, because I'm like, shit, the audio quality. When I do Skype calls, earpods. When I do interviews with people with earpods, it's fucking way better.
Dude, wait till you have the AirPod with the watch. You don't need your phone anymore. Yeah, you can come home, put the phone onto the dock, and then just walk around your house without that. Have you seen
the new generation of earpods? Or the AirPods?
No.
It's going to be like a much more comfortable design.
Yeah.
It's going to be foamed, like sit in your ear, but it'll fit flat in your ear. So you can just,
of course,
it'll look like a hearing aid basically, and you could wear them all the time.
So our original AirPods look so ghetto.
Oh yeah.
What they're best at doing is making the lesser model feel so ghetto.
Right. And then those new ones will be, well, it's intense to think, because at what point, if you look at hearing aid technology and what they're doing with implant hearing aids and stuff, and this new iteration of earpods, it's like we're 2 years away from an implanted earpod.
Well, they already have the contact lenses too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait for that. Because they were just jacked into the matrix. So their inner ear and inner eye, well.
Yeah. Imagine you're answering
virtual reality.
You're answering calls with like a quick twitch. Yeah. Everybody's like, why is he twitching? He's like, oh, he just gets a lot of text messages.
Connection's bad.
Yeah.
He's texting back right now.
Call me back. Call me back.
Well, it's like that now. I have my AirPods and I make a call. I'm like, yo, text Andy. And people are like, strangers big. What?
Donny looked like he was at a night in the Roxbury, by the way. Just yeah, I do that all the time. Hey Siri, I talk to Hey Siri all the time, and people are like, oh, you actually use that?
Yeah.
Like there's an Alexa in the room.
Perfect, because Siri sucks.
Hey Alexa, say hi.
Hi.
Hey Alexa, tell me a joke.
What do you call a tea-drinking wizard?
What?
A coffin sorcerer.
Hey Alexa, who's better, you or Google Home?
I like all AIs.
Ooh, good answer. Good answer.
Cool. That was cool. She wasn't playing no games.
I have a Google Home and I love it.
We have one in the kitchen.
Isn't it amazing?
It's better than Alexa. That's for sure.
Well, Siri's the fucking worst. Like
I know. I was
Siri's
gonna buy
a bag
an Apple
of garbage.
Home, and
nope.
No way. I'm dodging that one left, right, and center. The Alexa though, the speaker is much better than the Google Home.
Really?
For the same price, because they're both $35. Mm-hmm. Well, they were when they were on sale. I think they're perpetually on sale forever.
Yeah. The filthy battle they both have against each other.
This weighs 3 or 4 times as much.
Really? It's a hefty dude here.
Yeah, grab it, pick it up.
Not that much.
Okay, I gotta let you pick up the one downstairs too. Because like I picked up the one downstairs, I got the Alexa, and I was like, damn, that's a hefty thing.
I
picked up the Google Home Mini, and I was like, oh, this is weak.
You got a Fugazi Google Home, bro.
It's tinny. Yeah, I probably got the rip-off. This is the thing nobody's telling you. There's like a bootleg app developer that's making like Google Home. It's just Oxante gooing your E at the end and
Google.
stealing all your information. It's the Michael Google Home.
The Michael Google. It dresses very nice. And it's very taxing on the welfare system.
That's awesome. Okay, well, you know what? It was great having you.
Thank you for having me. This was pretty gnarly, man.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm like, fuck. I don't know if anybody listens to 2.5, 3 hours podcast. It took me, honestly. I listened to that pod debate with Joe Rogan. It took me like 8 or 9 days.
Me too, man.
Right? So now I'm thinking, I'm like,
oh yeah,
who the fuck is the crazy motherfucker that's committing to listening to us for 7 or 8 days? So on that, this is probably day 8. What's your parting thought for that person? I know that's deep. You can give advice. You can give the biggest lesson you learned. You could just straight up tell them anything you want. What would you say if you had a microphone and a stool?
I would say this. No matter what, you got it good. You got it good. If you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and you're breathing when you wake up in the morning, you got it good. Go out there, fuck shit up. Go through your battle, go to bed, and be proud of it. Go fuck shit up.
That's it. Fucking crush it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yo, my man.
I'm inspired.
Yo, my man.
That was a good
my
one.
Man.
Oh, boom.
My man.
Yeah, that was awesome. I appreciate it. I'm stoked to work together. I'm stoked to be your partner and, do fucking business stuff.
Yeah, we're going to do cool shit, man. Real cool shit. Everybody check me out.
Yeah, give everybody your handles quick.
Check me out at Taken Lunch Money. That's Taken Lunch Money without the G in Taken. Okay, come check out our newest venture, Booost CBD. We are pioneering the performance and recovery in CBDs. You're gonna see some really cool shit, cool products, cool marketing. Help us out, man. Help us out. Help. I'm just like you. I struggle every day. I work my ass off. We do our best, and honestly, we just get the opportunity to do what we love. And if you haven't been able to do that yet, let me tell you, man, work hard at your job, save every fucking penny, research lots, learn lots, and use that money to make sure that you can do something that you love. Because I don't have to go to work anymore, and it's cool. It's not any easier. It's 10 times harder, but it's just as cool. So check us out. Taking Lunch Money, that's the journey. Booost CBD. We're crushing it.
Boom. Thanks for being on Beers with Buds, Donny.
Thank you.